Let's get started.
Now let's get it all in perspective. We did it like that, and now we do it like this.
Do not attempt to adjust your dial. I'm transmitting live. Yo,
Let's get down to business.
Now let's get it all in perspective. We did it like that, and now we do it like this.
for the underground world, every street and borough.
You may learn something.
You are now listening to the Joe Rogan Experience with Chico, Simon, Kamar, and your host, Matt Floyd.
Welcome to the Joe Rogan Experience. My name is Matt Floyd, joined as always by Kamar
Welcome to the party.
and Simon.
Hello, Matthew. Hello, Kumar.
Simon.
Hello, viewers.
Listeners. What we do here is very simple. The three of us have listened to every episode of the Joe Rogan Experience this week. We are going to rate each episode as well as the week on a scale of 1 to 5 Jamie Vernons. We're then going to talk about each guest, the talking points, give our opinions, this, that, and the next. But first, Kamar, do we have any new patrons? I don't think we do.
It's a
dry week.
hello, new listeners and old listeners alike. This is a part of the show where I read out the new patrons. This week, it was a tough week for everyone, I think. No patrons, but I'm sure they'll be back next week. If you cannot join this Patreon, please like and subscribe on the YouTube channel. Leave a comment, whatever.
Well, if you don't subscribe to the Patreon, you really missed out last week because we had a really just a barn burner of a disagreement.
That was very emotional, eh? And I believe
You kept saying we felt away. I didn't feel a fucking way.
Simon was getting
What did we disagree
aggravated.
about?
We were talking
The
about
2v1.
Battle Royale.
Oh no, I wasn't feeling away. I just
Okay.
felt sorry for you. Like first of all, right away, I was like, this guy has been thinking about this a lot. He's been imagining this. He's been wishing this to happen or something.
No, but you know what's the funny thing is you brought it up unprompted, which means now, and I never thought about that. Because then you on the Reddit post, you're like, wow, I would never want to fight these guys. I couldn't fight these guys.
Well, I know because you read it. That's why I wrote that.
Oh, okay.
But do you see what I'm saying? I didn't say, hey, Kamar, do you think you can beat up me and Matt?
Yeah, he must have been. This is like a preemptive.
That's what I mean.
Never dawned on me.
He's sitting in his bed, jerking
I'm
off.
gonna beat the shit out of those two.
thinking
No. There's been all these celebrity matchups.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to drum up money. I know I can't fight one of you, so two of you seems like the only card. Or like we battle royale the Legion of Skanks, like shoot big or something.
Jesse, one of our longtime listeners and friend of the podcast,
Genius.
reminded me that I didn't even mention roundhouse kicks. Like dude.
Are you a roundhouse professional or something?
I had to stop doing roundhouses in fear of hurting people.
Yeah, you got to connect. Whoever wins will be the one who connects. That's
Anyways, I don't want to get into this whole thing again, but just know, Kamar, that I have given it some thought, and I still hold strong to what I said.
Well, I never thought of this, and I wrote it in the Reddit thread. And I don't think anyone saw it because I was the last one to comment. The first thing I do in that fight is strip ass naked.
Yeah. Well, but okay, then
Kamar doesn't care. He would love that.
No. Kamar has a problem with that. Trust me.
He takes himself out of the fight temporarily.
No. I'm naked.
Yeah,
Look at what I'm wearing. I'm naked.
I don't
quick.
love that.
I'm
I don't
naked.
love that.
Quick.
That gives him a lot of time to come
And
after
then I just
me.
tear off his fucking nutsack.
You think he's coming after you if I'm the one getting naked? That seems odd.
You just said he has a huge problem with it, so he would like beeline away from you.
As it is a deterrent, your nudity.
But you roundhouse kick him when he comes in with the distance.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm not worried. I just don't love it.
The only problem would be is if you got naked and I got just shook and wanted to inspect your scrotum.
First of all, the idea is like you're never going to see another man's dick you've never seen and not spend at least a second, at least 1 second
like,
being
that's
like,
what he's working
is
with.
it big? Is it small? Yeah, like does this guy have it going? Like what's going on here? So I have 1 second of distraction at
If
least.
he has a bigger dick than me, I'm definitely losing this fight. Is that kind of what you're thinking?
yeah. Well, imagine if I had like a 12-inch hog. That's an extra 3 seconds of distraction, without a doubt.
If you have the time to do the Houdini and tuck it, he's got no dick.
There you go. I do a fruit bowl. I spin around, put it between my legs,
You
and
think
shake
Matt is trans and it just throws you for a
Well,
huge
of course,
loop?
well, I couldn't beat a trans. That's a hate crime.
It's the
So
crying
it's a
game.
it's a whole new situation.
it. The crying game. Good reference. That's it. Or movie game. No kidding.
Oh, God.
Kamar, how was your
Was
week?
not
I don't
mentioned.
think
Oh
I've
man,
actually
I
seen
had a Matt Floyd week.
Your taint exploded?
No, I've been playing.
Why we got to do that? Why we got to do that?
It's the only thing that came to mind.
I've been
dude.
playing a little bit of blackjack on the Poker Stars in my downtime.
Yeah.
And you know how there's perfect pair and 3 to 21. You know how those work?
No.
So there's the side bets on
Yeah, I get it.
So perfect pairs, if you get a pair,
Yeah, it's like
it
a
pays
7
out
of
more.
diamonds and a 7 of diamonds.
Exactly, or a 7 of diamonds and 7 of clubs. It's a lot less of
Okay.
a multiplier. The other day, I put $25 to bet, but my thumb's so big, I accidentally put it on perfect pair.
You're
and
so
got
lucky.
sevens.
You're so
$666 US.
Wow.
You're so lucky.
I'm so I was bummed because like it's not like a way I can figure out when to put the $25 on perfect pair. Usually I put 50 cents there,
You know
and
what's,
that perfect pair pays like $13.
you know what's hilarious is I have spent so much money on Poker Stars that every weekend they send me an email being like, $5 casino bonus just sitting there if you want it. So this weekend I log on. I'm like, okay, they've given me 2 $5 bonuses. I lose the first 5 because you can only bet 5 at a time. And then I turn the next 5 into $195. And then I went to blackjack like you and lost in 2 seconds.
That's
Fuck
not
Poker
good, man.
Stars.
They started sending me $20 casino bonuses.
Oh, I got those too. It's because the only reason I'm getting $5, Kamar, is because I haven't been putting money
they're just
on
like,
there in a while.
"Please come back,
Yes, they're
please
like,
come
we'll do
back."
anything to have you come back.
Yeah, so that was
They've
that-
been comping me rooms at the Bellagio, so I don't know what
He's
you're
a
fucking
high
talking
roller.
about.
So that was a highlight of my week. But also the Olympics started, and I love the Olympics. Did you guys watch the road race?
I haven't watched a single thing of the Olympics.
I said last
don't give
Olympics,
two
everyone's
shits.
got to watch the road race. It's the premier event. You want to know why? Because the beginning of the race rides all through Tokyo. So you just get to see what neighborhoods look like and stuff. You know what I mean? It's just a big peloton.
They had the skateboarding street.
Yeah, I didn't watch that either.
Canadians didn't place. American came third. Brazilian second. And
Wait, it's there. The medals are already
a
done.
Japanese
The street- the
first.
street
The
was today.
street.
So Nigel didn't
that
win?
competition
no,
is done. He didn't.
They did the biggest insight, like behind the scenes,
Yeah,
because
of
his
course,
dad
'cause
was
he-
crazy
yeah.
and stuff. And it's like the jinx. It's like being on the Madden cover or whatever. He didn't place at all.
It's like when they did that.
So who won?
about,
Yuto?
This
yeah,
Japanese kid.
Yeah, exactly.
Yuto is insane.
And
That kid is
the Brazilian came in second.
Which one?
I forget his name.
Wasn't it so surreal?
Hold on. I'll,
Give me 2 names and one of them will be right.
Kevin Hoffler or Kelvin Hoffler.
Yep.
Yep, that sounds
That's a
right.
Brazilian.
Yep. And then the Canadian or the American, I had never even heard of. Eaton, Jay Eaton.
Jagger Eaton. He's
Jagger Eaton,
fucking
yeah.
Oh,
insane.
they were insane, and all the cameras they had. The only thing is, it's already been going on X Games, so it's not crazy. But the fact that it's Olympics is just surreal. The other thing is, I performed all week.
Yeah, congrats, Kamar. How was that?
I feel so alive again. Like it's amazing. I want to thank all the fans that came out to the shows. That was amazing.
know what's
Fans
crazy?
came out to shows.
Nope, no one came.
Yeah, because
Wednesday at like 8:00. I was like, I forgot to call Kamar.
Yeah,
I also then at Wednesday at 8 was like, I had 0 material.
I think
so.
you subconsciously. made
Well,
sure
I'm not
you
going to
forgot
go up with
about
no
it.
material. And I'm not like, you gave me literally, it was Sunday. You were like, can you get a set together for Wednesday?
Well, I've always said you should just do the same jokes you did last time. And
Yeah, the problem
Make them
was
better.
the jokes I did last time were trash and I'm trash. So
no.
yeah.
You just have to slow down. I thought you were really funny.
No, here, let me stay. I'm going to say this out loud while we're on the week. Sorry, I know Simon's already hating this podcast. We're
I
5
don't
minutes
care
in.
at all.
You don't find me funny.
I do.
You don't.
I know you're funny.
No, but you don't. Like if you,
I do.
Kamar, do me a favor because I know you have a bit of time on your hands. Go back and watch, or just listen, but probably watch. I think you get a better idea. Watch the last 5 episodes and tell me if you laugh at anything I say.
No, I resent you for being so funny.
No,
That's the problem.
No, you do not. This fucking guy's dying over here.
You didn't put in your time, bitch. You will never shine in Kamar's eyes.
I think you're funny. Like I think you're.
I don't think you think I'm
accents
funny,
are
and that's okay.
hilarious.
Because
No.
I also, you know what, Kamar, the problem too is that I don't think I'm funny. I actually, and I've said this before, I don't think I was ever funny. I think I made that
think
up
you're
in my
funny.
head.
I think you're funny.
I think funny is like a crutch that I used where I was like, I gotta have something.
I'm not pretty.
Well, no, I
So
know
I
that.
gotta
Yeah.
be funny.
But you know what I mean? Like in a job interview, if someone was like, what's like, tell me something positive about
That's
yourself.
not true. Listen, I will never tell you
Oh,
something
I
that's
know.
not true.
Oh, okay. Yes, you will.
You do very funny impressions.
And
that
he's-
makes you funny right away.
He's great
because-
self-deprecating.
No, but you're saying I'm not funny. People think I'm funny, but I don't think I'm. That's one reason people think you're funny because not everybody can do impressions. So like,
We've got to take this to the fans. Fans,
Kamar, either
let us
way.
know if you think I think Matt's not
do
funny.
you think I'm funny?
Yeah, I wouldn't hang out with you if I didn't think you were funny.
You didn't think I was funny?
I don't
I
think he
wouldn't
thinks
hang
you're
out with
funny.
you if I didn't think you were funny.
He's just saying that.
No, I genuinely surround myself like.
Because I think I'm funny.
Oh, I
know
think
you're
I
hilarious.
think you think you're a 10.
Yeah. Oh no. I mean, I think most of my jokes are wasted on the plebs, but Yes, a 10. Agreed.
Gotcha. Okay.
But I'm sure there's jokes you say on here that they don't hit. You think between the three of us, but someone's laughing somewhere.
Maybe. I mean,
Well,
I guess that's
I'm
the
laughing.
hope. I do. We are labeled as a comedy podcast, so if no one ever laughed, I might have to put us in like sports and leisure or
Or
something.
documentary.
That being said, Kamar, I did,
Radio Lab. That was the name of the podcast.
as of Wednesday in anger, because I spent all week in boredom watching stand up. Was that the door? Can you let Yeah. Oh, Chico's here. Thanks, babe. Come on, just let him in. I spent all week watching stand up, and then Wednesday, after I knew that I could have gone on, all I've been doing is attempting to write. Yeah. But again, also then writing and being like, well, none of this is funny.
No, you can't know that till you try it. But I had a great week. Friday is the worst crowd ever. Always. It's because they work all day and come in. But other than that, the shows have been bananas.
Yeah, I feel like Friday crowd's a lot of tourists, people that maybe don't know comedy but are just looking for something to do on a Friday.
I don't know, but they're tight and tired. Last night was fucking ecstasy, man.
That's good.
There was 80 people there. It felt like...
Is that max?
No, 185 is the max there.
So they can max it out right now?
No,
then?
you can't because
So
you still have to have social distancing.
That's what I'm asking, though. What's the max right now? 80?
80.
That's okay. Yeah, that's what I was... But 80 is still decent.
It's the biggest crowd I performed to in like 2 years, so yeah.
Okay, so Kamar had a good week.
Yeah, I had a great week.
Simone, how was your week, sir?
My week was fine. Thank you, Matt, for asking. Last week I decided I was going to come in and use my time at the beginning of the show to talk about things that irritate me,
Uh-oh.
which I did last week, but I don't have a lot of them. High-waisted pants really irritate me.
On girls?
And body, hate them.
No way, they're
I
amazing.
hate them.
They're amazing.
No,
Oh,
I hate
I'm
them.
with Simon.
It
They
is
look
a
like mom jeans, but you totally see their ass.
It
and,
is a terrible fashion thing. And listen, I get it. I'm a guy who likes wearing
Take 'em higher.
sweatpants. I have no right saying anything, but I'm also a person and I know what looks good and that doesn't look good. You know what else I don't like? Bodysuits.
What the fuck is a bodysuit? What are you talking about?
Like a bodysuit.
This is all on women?
Yeah, on women.
So hold on. You don't... So I got to know what a bodysuit is, though.
Well, you know, it's like...
Like a Spider-Man costume or something with a chiffon?
Well, I mean, the one I saw on my way over here, which prompted the hatred, was like a spandex shorts running suit.
Yeah, okay,
You
because
know,
that's
one
super
piece.
unflat. That's not meant to be flattering.
Oh, people wear it now like a thing. It's like cool. And it's not cool.
It's
This
not
is
cool
what
if
I
you got to
mean.
go to the bathroom fast.
You know what I mean?
I mean, yeah, I guess I don't. You know what I mean? So that was how your week was? You don't like
No, I think
high-waisted
we gotta do
pants?
Don't
segment
like
here.
high-waisted pants. I do not like bodysuits.
Is there anything you don't like that men do?
No, that men wear? Or is it just that
men
men
wear.
do?
Well, Speedos, obviously. That's just gross.
Kamar, I have a small favor.
Your wish is my command.
Maybe keep that away from the soundboard. There we go. You can keep it up here, too. That's,
Well, no, I'm worried about... We're not
Oh, you don't
getting
wanna block the
sponsored by Gatorade. So.
shouldn't even say. I got to bleep that out now. I'll pixelate the bottle. So, Simon, your week was okay. We're sorry we brought you home from the cottage early, pal.
That's all right. It was raining.
How was your week, Matt?
Just so uneventful.
See, you're hilarious.
I hate you. So you made yourself laugh there. That's good. No, I have nothing to report, man. I'm it's like get busy living or get busy dying. I don't know.
The fuck does that mean?
I mean, I'm not doing shit. This pandemic like is now over. I don't have a job. I have no cash left.
Why do you work at the comedy club, man? Couple
Well, after
shifts a
this
week.
fucking thing I heard, I was like, maybe because you know what? Working in the service industry for as long as I did, I don't know that I can do it anymore.
You just be a doorman. Get spots.
Can't be a doorman. Look at the size of me.
They're smaller doormen than you. They're not there for security. They're there to just
Have
sit
you
people.
noticed how close doorman is to doormat? That just occurred to me right now.
There you go. See, Simon should go up. He's funnier than I am.
There's just one letter that's separating you from stopping people and being totally walked over.
Just walk all over
Yeah.
them.
Well, I mean, as someone who knows doormen, they tend to get walked over.
Yeah, I would. I'll ask if you care. You could maybe work one day a week. Get out of the house.
Sure, whatever.
do
Yeah,
stuff.
I don't care. It'll get me in there so that a bunch of other people can find me not funny.
It's your foot in the door, though.
I get
and
it.
We know a lot of people. That's how they do it. That's all. I'm saying.
Well, you'll never know if people find you funny unless you
Yeah, that's a real safe space, not to do anything.
unless you do it,
Yes, I'm well aware.
Yeah.
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 I mean, keep in mind, I have done it. It's not like I've never gone up. So.
100% of the shots you never take, Matt.
Yeah.
Yeah, according to Joe, you're a comic.
I did not agree with that in any way,
Well,
shape,
no,
or
he
form.
contradicted himself. But we'll get to it.
Yeah, that's like the very last thing we should talk about. Do you want to run down the guest list, Kamar?
Yeah, we had a great week. It's been a long time, but she came back. 1884, Abby Martin.
I feel like that one's going to be a tough one for Simon.
Followed by 2 years too late, I guess, 1885, Shane Gillis.
Oh, by the way,
Called it. Verzi called it. And the return of Ari Shaffir, 1886.
don't do this, Simon.
What did you call it?
All last week, you were like, where's Shane Gillis? Matt said Shane Gillis was coming
Shane
on.
Gillis, right. You were a week too slow. Or
We're
too
not
fast.
petty here at all.
No, it's again, they pre-recorded it. Like that one, Shane Gillis was there like last Thursday.
Yeah, he must have felt like a dumb fuck posting that on his Instagram, and then Joe sat on it for 4 or 5 days.
Imagine, that's hilarious. I never even thought of that. You post a photo in the studio.
Liar.
And then 6 days later, like, dude, what's going on?
They pulled the Kanye.
Yeah. Do you want to rate the week, Simon?
Yeah, that they pulled a Chappelle. Actually, it's a Kamar. The random black man's arm in the studio.
Yes.
That translates
I'll take
automatically
credit
to
for that.
Chappelle.
Well, luckily, I never found out, so you guys kept that amongst yourselves.
Well, surprise you.
Kamar really wanted to save it for you.
Do you want to rate the week, Simon? We'll start with you.
Sure, I'll give this week a 4. A 4.4. Or no, a 4.0. Sorry.
A 4.
A 4.
Yes.
Yeah. 4.0000. Add infinity.
0 with a line over the top. Yes.
You got it.
I'm going to give it a 4.2.
I'm going to have to give it a 4. It should probably get a 3.5 because one of them I kind of liked, but I felt like it, whatever, we'll get to it.
Too late. That's
No.
what I'm guessing it was too late.
No, that's not it. No, I just found it fucking.
I guess that's why we do the show.
That's why we do the show. That's it. All right, well, let's get into it.
1884, Abby Martin. So, Simon,
So, Jew,
Yeah.
what do you have to say for yourself?
What do you have to say for yourself,
Can
Simon?
you just turn all the lights this way for
We
a
could,
little
yes.
while?
the
And then the
ways
yeah.
of making you talk.
Yeah, that's not funny.
Is it sort of like an abortion issue?
Let me just start. I want to
Israel and
start.
Palestine, you know what I mean?
Hold on. I want to start by saying this to the listeners. I don't know that you're gonna get. I don't know that Simon can comment on this the way we'd like him to, or the way he might like to. No, and I don't mean that in a mean way. I know that Simon feels like there's potential that I'm just going to throw this out there that maybe his dad could one day listen to this and maybe wouldn't be too happy with potentially what he could say. Would that be an apt, or am I just way off?
I don't think my dad will ever listen. So
I don't think he will either.
I don't think
Yeah.
we have to worry about that.
But you know that there's the off chance that he
Of
could.
all the episodes, that's pretty far-fetched.
Imagine he just randomly picks an episode. It's this one. He just randomly scrolls to a spot. It's Simon. Like, I think Israel.
Well,
I mean,
I'm wondering why you say that.
Look,
I'm saying that because
it sounds an awful lot like apartheid. Like it does.
But we can't say for sure if it is.
well, hold on. The only reason I say this,
Well-
Simon. The only reason I say this is because a couple weeks ago, when this whole shit started really like flaring up again, or a month or two ago, I kind of brought it up, and it seemed like you didn't really want to talk about it, and you were very kind of like.
I don't know a ton about it. I don't like
Fair
immerse
enough.
myself in it. I'm not.
If you look at the facts,
I'm
though,
not
you
a
can sort of form an
Jew
opinion.
who is like die hard to Israel. Like that's the last generation who's like that because their parents were in the Holocaust.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know what I mean? Like it was that close.
But
Look, he needs to have somebody on to talk about the other side of the story. It's just not that one-sided. Nothing is that one-sided. You know what I mean? Like it just isn't. It never is. There is. I don't think that every single Jew shares that opinion. You know what I mean? There are young people there who are not the same way there are young people everywhere who are hip to the jive, you know? They don't want people to die.
But it would appear on a surface level that Israel claims everyone's out to get them, but they're a big bad bully too.
Yes.
Palestine.
Well, it just goes to show you that when you give anybody power, even people who were oppressed, human nature is
Corruption.
to flex, you know?
Do you guys know the population of Israel?
Are we gonna guess?
I know. I wrote it down.
Okay.
I thought it'd be interesting just...
The population of Israel is 32 million people.
I'm gonna say 64.5.
Oh, no, it's not. I'm
It's
sorry.
9 million.
Yeah.
9? Yeah, that's obscene.
So they are a small country there, but do you know the population of Palestine? You can
9
guess that
million.
too. 2 million. So they really got them unnumbered. And the biggest thing that I saw, because it's about the settlement spreading and whatever, Israel has that stupid 4-story law.
We can't build a building over
No
4
buildings
stories.
over, like, from 200 years ago. It's like, oh, that's a law. Like, they could have skyscrapers. And I mean, I understand it's a historical city and they want to preserve that. But maybe building up would be better than the position they're in now. I'm just shooting out, like,
Yeah, I just
Possibilities.
I don't think it's a thing where they want to share, so I don't think they care how many 4-story buildings they make. You know what I mean?
so like I said at the beginning, this is an abortion issue and just will always be for the end of time. I don't see any light at the tunnel. Because you said they started flaring up. It starts flaring up every 2 years. sort of thing.
It starts flaring up every 5 years.
Every 5
and
years.
it follows elections pretty closely.
It's almost like
I mean, when I said flared up, it's ongoing. I'm
And-
not trying to be crass or disrespectful.
No,
I realize that it's an
and then
ongoing.
People are stupid, just in general, and then it becomes like the cause celeb for a while to hate Jews, and then it goes back to normal.
back to the funniest when Mark Ruffalo was like said in Palestine, and then so Tom was like, "That's not your position." He's like, "Oh, whoa, 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 whoa," and there is no solution. Even Joe asked Abby, and she doesn't know. Like, she wasn't like, these concrete 4 points are gonna fix it.
I mean, the way they're doing it now sounds horrible. So
Just the unbalance of force.
just
Well, just people have human rights,
Yeah.
and they're getting violated left, right, and center.
yeah.
So that needs to stop. That's not working. We know that. You can't. The other thing too is like, you can't violate someone's human rights and then expect that 20 years down the road, those people aren't going to have a deep-seated hate when they get older. When like this is how this shit is cyclical and continues. Like, I don't know. Again, I'm not sitting here saying I have the solution. I don't. I've never been there.
it's such a weird, like, after the war when they give Israel back to the Jews, like, there's not a second of that's not contentious. You know what I mean? Right from the
period
start.
of peace.
No, I'm saying like that war, like the second that you do that, you create animosity. Just
I mean, again, though, and again, I'm super anti-religion, so I find it ridiculous that anyone can just say, well, God said this is our land, so, here we are.
That's a problem. Depending
And I
on
get
what
it that they
what
have
you
no
believe,
home.
how you look
I
at the
understand that they have
situation.
no home and that what they've been through historically is awful. I understand that as well. But I don't know that religion needs a home.
But you can understand also peoples that are just getting run out of town. And they're just like, what the fuck? We have nothing to begin with.
Yeah. But I mean, Jews weren't run out of the States back then. Like,
Oh, I think they were.
they
I think they
absolutely
were.
were.
after World War II, we're talking
No,
about?
before,
in the 1960s? No, but I'm
before.
talking about the 1960s. Because that's when they got fucking Israel when? In 1940?
It's never been good for the Jews. You know what I mean? They've always been one
Really?
way
I
or
would say the
another
last 50...
throughout time.
But the last
kinda-
50 years seems pretty good for
They've
you
done
guys.
well in the movie industry. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Sure. But I mean, by that logic, Matt, everybody has done well in the last 50 years.
I would agree with that, though. Yes, but
So-
you could argue they've probably done better. I mean, if there's 9 million people in Israel, they have like the third strongest army in the world. I can't imagine how much money is in Israel. They have a lot of clout for a country of that size and 9 million people.
Yeah, that absolutely.
There's no again like I'm not
Well,
even.
when you're America's buddy, that's what happens, man.
But I mean, again, we're America's buddy.
We're not America's buddy. We have nothing to offer.
We can't even open our borders to each other.
We have nothing to offer America.
Okay, fine.
Nothing of any substance.
Well, we
Sure,
have
we do water,
what do you-
lumber.
Yomi beer,
What do you think America wants most of all, though? Like, what do
Resources.
they value more than anything?
oil.
Their goddamn military. That's
Well-
the crowning jewel.
Well, this is a
That's
crowning-
what keeps everybody in line in the whole world is America's military, and Israel plays an important part in that. So
This is
they
the
are tied in. Like,
this
Well,
is the crown
Israel
jewel
also
of this
gives
podcast.
America a great little nest right in the fucking.
everything. They are a good ally for America. It lets them do all sorts of shit in the Middle East. It gives them a fucking place where I don't know, man.
But as we found out, they are the biggest polluter on the world.
The U.S. Army, yes.
yeah,
Well,
you see,
all militaries.
No, but
And-
they said
and-
the U.S. alone.
But they're, it's like
But we found out about those burn pits. Like, I imagine just that alone. Like, let's say somehow the military went electric tomorrow. I would imagine that those burn pits alone are so terrible for the environment. And imagine how many of them there are around the world.
do you remember when Iraq invaded Kuwait?
Yeah, in 92 or whatever.
And then they got hit back, and Saddam Hussein blew up, I think it was 1,800 oil wells. And they all,
Yeah, they all
burned
Lit
caught
them on
fire.
for
fire.
Yeah.
months, and people had to go there and cap them. Like the pollution of war is this is what she was talking about, is the one thing everyone says, you got to recycle more, companies got to do this. No one says anything to the army, and they are the biggest polluter. But can we live in a world without military? It's like the biggest catch-22. That's what I got from this podcast, especially.
just back to the whole Israel-Palestine thing for a second. And again, don't quote me on anything here, but the way I understand it is like the end goal for Israel is obviously to remove all Palestinians from Israel.
From Israel, yes, and to make it all Israel.
They don't say that though, because they say, look at
Yeah, they need a company
look
line.
at Jerusalem equal 4 parts. We know that's not necessarily the case. Palestine's end goal, I don't remember what it's called, but it's
Probably eradicate the Jews.
no, like their party line. That,
Yeah.
it's not eradicate the Jews. I'm sure both people, that's their line. But it's like to get every Palestinian into Israel. That's what they want to do. And at that point, they outnumber the Jews in Israel like 100 to 1 or whatever it is. There are just way more of them, right? Because there aren't very many Jews because
But didn't we just decide there's 2 million Palestinians and 9 million Jews?
that's living inside of Israel right now.
Yeah.
I'm saying
Oh, this is
they
okay.
they'll come from everywhere.
Okay.
As soon as it becomes they're able to do that. They can't do that now because Israel.
So you think worldwide there's more than 12 million Palestinians? Or 9 million, I guess?
What I heard was that whatever number it is, the Israel is aware of this. They can't never let that happen because then the balance of power in their own country will be not to their advantage. And that's like, that's, again, I don't know, man. Maybe I'm wrong. But the way I understood it, that's kind of what they're, they'll never let that happen. And this is what we want. And here we are.
I mean, if I believe what I see, it doesn't look good for Israel. And I'm not going to say the Jews because I don't look at this as I don't look at this like a.
This isn't a Jew thing. This is an Israel thing.
I agree. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I do not think like if you're if you're a Jew living in Canada or the U.S., I'm not like, you piece of shit. You're doing. I don't think the two are mutually.
That's like attacking a Chinese person because the virus came from a lab. in
Precisely.
Wuhan.
You're ridiculous.
Like,
It's
that is
ridiculous.
the most fucking crazy, racist, anti-Semitic bullshit ever. But this is what you have to worry about. And this is what you have to worry about with a podcast like this. And I'm not saying that Abby Martin is doing a bad thing, but like when you don't give that other side,
But I mean, in her
it's
defense,
just a bunch of people who are going to be like, okay, well, Jews are terrible and we have to put a stop to this.
But is she
and
saying Jews or Israel?
go
I think
punch a
she's-
Jew in the face. you
But I mean,
know?
in her defense, I think she was like, "Listen, we didn't cherry pick. We sat in this one place for a long time, and this was the sentiment. And I would have shown other sentiment. It just did not seem to exist. Now, again, you could argue that, like, that's a small sample size. Obviously, I would argue that.
Yeah,
It's not,
I just know that's not true.
I'm sure. Listen, it can't be 100%, Simon. I think that's obvious to everyone that 100% of Israelites aren't like, fuck Palestine, we should put our foot on their throat. I refuse to believe that as well. But it seems like at least a majority.
Yeah, sure. Yes.
Yeah, and again, we
like
know that
the majority of Palestinians want to kill all Jews.
Hold on.
From birth, like, and before any of this was going on, they wanted to kill each other. Like, this isn't a new.
Nope, it's not.
Sure, but you can't cut off water to people.
Listen, I'm not saying what they're doing is right. I'm telling you that both sides hate each other.
I understand that. I'm well aware.
There is an alternate, there's another viewpoint to this. Not that Israel is doing the right thing, but that not every person, she painted Israel as a whole with a pretty evil brush. Like, there was nobody in there that didn't want to stone an Arab to death. You know what I mean? Like, that is not the case. That's just not the case. There are educated people in Israel who don't want that to happen. There are people, for sure.
Yeah, there's also, though...
There are parties fighting against each other, like...
Sure, but I just find that I feel, from what I've seen, it seems like the majority, and again, that means more than 50%. I'm not saying it's 80%. I'm just saying at least more than 50% seems to be deeply Orthodox Jewish, and they seem to be willing, again, and I'm not saying the other side isn't, but like
I would be more afraid of the Jews that are tied in with the American military than Jews in Israel. You know what I mean?
The Jews that are tied into the American military. Go on.
I just like Netanyahu. He was just a fucking puppet for the fucking Americans. That's what happened for a really long time. He's finally out, and the guy who's in there now is more militant than he was. We just finished saying that they're America's lapdog, you know?
Mm-hmm. Although sometimes it seems the other way around. Like, America's this big, huge superpower, and they kowtow to them a lot. It would seem.
Well, the military kowtows to everyone, though.
What do you mean?
They sell weapons to Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia and Israel aren't friends. You know what I mean? The Saudi Arabia gives weapons they get from America to Iran. Like, it's all just...
Listen,
gross.
I'm pretty sure the U.S. provides every single country on Earth with
Russia.
all their guns. Yeah, okay, Russia too, but...
And China.
Well, and in the end, America does what's in their best interest. So if it was in their best interest to work with the Saudis, then Israel just has to fucking deal with it.
Well, America's a capitalist country. So at the end of the day, the dollar rules. So it doesn't matter. Like, if you're selling guns, I'm selling guns. I don't give a fuck who I'm selling guns to.
Oh, I mean, of course it matters. They're not going to sell guns directly to their enemies. I wouldn't think that would be...
But we both know that's not the case.
insane.
Yeah, but we both know that they do sell weapons to their enemies all the time. They have historically done that.
Well, but it's usually as they're trying to get them as part of their fucking crew.
I think they're just trying to make money.
They turn on them.
It seems like a little bit of everything. I mean, you're the CIA guy. Why am I the one saying this? What's happening here? Who's sitting in this chair?
I absolutely think the American government and the American military is totally corrupt. That's what we're talking about.
But does it have to exist to keep the world? Like, is the world a worse place if China?
Well, of course it has to exist, because if not, China and Russia are going to attack us, right?
But hold on.
This
You
is
think
what they say.
I
No,
know.
hold on.
I'm being
But
facetious.
you think everyone should have a gun? So you
No, I
That's
think
to
everyone should be
protect us against our
allowed.
own
I
government.
think everyone should have allowed.
Not against the
to have a
fucking
gun.
Russians.
I don't think everyone should have a gun.
No. When we had the conversation, you were like, everyone should carry a gun because then you're safer with a gun without one.
What's more likely if you're a U.S. citizen, that you're going to be attacked by the Russians or you're going to be attacked by another U.S. citizen?
U.S. citizen.
Of course.
Or the U.S. government.
Even better.
I'm just saying.
I think it was very telling when they played the Jeffrey Clark clip
Which one was that?
where he said, when you have a hammer this big, you got to make every problem a nail.
Yeah.
And that's the problem with the U.S. Army. It's got to, like...
Well, that's exactly what
stuff.
what's his name was warning about on his way out.
Eisenhower.
I'm surprised they didn't have him fucking exterminated.
Is it Eisenhower? Is that who we're
Yeah,
talking
I
about?
think it is. The industrial complex there. And he was talking about how exactly that. Like, you see now what drives war. It's money. And for the rest of time, this will be how it works.
But what's ridiculous is the U.S. Army was in Afghanistan for 20 years. They go out the next day, the Taliban's back in control, like they were never there. And it was $9 trillion plus the pollution, plus there's a huge issue with all the Afghan interpreters, people who work with the army that are still there. Like they have to try to get out because
they're going to get murdered.
they're enemies of the Taliban state now.
Did you see that they're finally saying that that Havana syndrome is a real thing? Havana syndrome was what they were calling it because it first got recognized in Havana. It was these American diplomats, and they were saying, we think we were shot with these like pulsar guns, and it's making us sick. And
Psychological weapons.
No, it's like noise weapons. Anyways, and the American government was denying it. No, you guys are crazy. You're crazy. And now they're like, oh yeah, that's what
was
they're
us.
doing.
Who's
No,
using?
it
Who's,
wasn't them, but
the Cubans have that weapon.
they were saying that it was the Cubans who were using.
Well, they must have got that from Russia because I don't know, unless they developed that, which seems far fetched. So Abby's a truther.
What's
Okay.
a truther again?
What's a
9/11,
Yeah.
and I felt Joe didn't push back as much as he did with Tim.
Isn't everybody a truther though?
I think Joe switched it, and I wonder, like, do you think your dad's a truther? He would say, if you were to tell your dad, it might be an inside job. I think if I told my dad or my mom, I'm not just pointing you out. They say, are you ridiculous?
I don't know, because I don't know. Usually I would agree with you, Kamar. He'd go with whatever the CNN line was, but I asked him if he thought aliens existed the other day, and he told me, of course I do. So like,
Aliens and 9/11 are sort of not the same.
I don't know. I don't like inside job, and I'll tell you why. Because that implies that the American government planned it top to bottom. I don't.
it doesn't have to be.
I
the
think
American
if that was
government.
explicit, it would have been exposed by now. But there's just some
I believe that
inconsistency.
I believe that they knew wholeheartedly exactly what was going to happen.
And it could just be factions of the government. It doesn't have to be.
Either way, I believe someone planned around what they knew was going to happen on a specific date and time.
Someone let something happen. Well, here's the greatest example, though. The FBI in Michigan. There was a story that came out that all these QAnon guys wanted to kidnap the governor of Michigan.
And they
Right.
were all
And
FBI.
16 of 18
Yeah.
were FBI
Yeah,
agents.
perfect.
So why not have...
But wait a sec. If we think that Bin Laden was responsible for organizing those planes going into the World Trade Centers, right? That's
That's the narrative, yeah.
okay. He was at one point working with the Americans.
The
Yes, he was.
CIA, yes.
Why is it so far-fetched then just on that alone to be like they could totally have had a hand in it?
Of course, the FBI...
More than just taking advantage of, you know.
But hold
what
on, what I'm saying, okay, like, first of all, they had a hand in building Osama bin Laden, other than his family's wealth. But, like, they gave him guns to fight the
Yeah.
Mujahideen.
Oh, yeah.
the Mujahideen. Yeah, like, you know.
They trained him.
Yeah, they were fighting. They were
gonna
shooting at the Soviets. They were
going to use him for fucking whatever dirty work they wanted him to do over there.
I agree, but my point is, it's also then easier to have a lot of people in his camp or someone in his camp and know that this is going to take place. And again, if you know the specific time and date something's going to go down, you can then act so accordingly. And if you want to be attacked, then you have to let it happen. Again, sure, maybe it was planned. I just have a tough time. That's a much tougher pill to swallow. But you know what? I sent you that article the other day about how the CIA was going to bomb Miami to blame Castro. So it's not that far-fetched.
It's
at the end
not.
Of the day.
And when you look at it, not only is it not far-fetched, but it's like part of their playbook. We can go back and look at events where they've done exactly this before, and you know from the CIA that this is a fucking retarded organization that keeps trying the same things over. I can, because in this position it's apt. They are very slow on the draw.
I knew that was coming.
They just keep, like, literally, they keep trying the same thing over and over again. Look at what just happened in
Don't fucking snap at me.
Where did they just execute this last person?
Well, there was one
The
in South
president.
Africa, Haiti,
Haiti. Like, come on.
7 Colombians.
Come on.
Is that just so weird?
That's
That's
got
all weird. But here's the thing, though, is like, that seems... it almost feels like if it is the CIA, like they're sitting in a room going, okay, do you think... What if we double pump fake? Like, we make it look so obvious that it's us that
Yes.
then people
Well,
are like... Because you know what I mean? Like, there's no way when I see that 7 Colombian
Just
dudes
were bummed on
killed,
this guy and
killed the
decided to do it.
Haitian president, like, that
No, but-
reeks of...
and the other thing is there was like a
And
turret
I'm-
that was unmanned. Like, it was like a Jeffrey Epstein almost.
You know
Yeah,
how
just
we
no
talk.
one was where they should be. Oh, a bunch of
You
fumbling
know how
idiots.
we talk about young CIA agents making their druthers?
Yeah.
I think those guys are so few and far between. And when it actually happens, it slips through the cracks and you get a hit song and walls fall. But that never fucking happens. Most of the time, it's just these guys walking in to older guys and being like, here, I want to do exactly what you did last year because you guys are fucking amazing. And they're like, yeah, we're amazing. We're totally going to authorize this exact same thing we did before. And then you got this guy crying, no, hit songs. And they're like, "Pfft."
I like
the
how
fuck outta
how
here.
he got out of breath there. He was so into what he was saying.
I thought he was going to start singing. He wrote a song to expose
Simon,
the CIA.
Let me ask you though, maybe the CIA is like many other American institutions in that maybe it's just like maybe the young CIA agents trying to make their druthers are all just morons, like just total, like maybe the CIA just did it better back then.
Yeah. I think they're all gone now.
There's no CIA anymore.
No, there are no agents left trying to make their druthers.
Okay.
But when you look at like the history of the CIA and all the fucking crazy shit these guys have tried, like,
Well, did you listen to that podcast I sent you about the Dulles brothers?
no, I did not.
What a piece of shit.
Hey, I'm right here.
I do not get any service to download anything.
I sent it to you
when I'm
a
away.
month ago.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
You and I believe
He
you
had
know
his
what's crazy.
canned response.
You know
there.
what's
I'm
crazy
sorry.
is
My
now
lawyers told me I was at the cottage. I couldn't listen.
now that I think about it too, I'm fairly certain his response was, "This seems really interesting, but I don't think I'll listen to it."
I'm watching some
Which
pig
is a
cry.
classic Simon.
Well, at least I'm honest.
Did you watch Solar Opposites? No, of course you didn't. What a piece of garbage.
No, because I was also at the cottage, but I do want to watch that.
You are aware that you can download a few episodes of things to your phone, right? On Netflix.
Only
and
some things you can download. Like you can't download anything from Crave. Crave doesn't let me.
Yeah, I
download.
think you can.
I think you can. Yeah.
I think you can.
I think you're wrong.
I think you actually can.
I can definitely download off
With
Netflix
Wi-Fi. You need Wi-Fi.
because I realized I had never watched Bloodline.
So good.
So good.
So good.
I think I watched. Oh, I know. I watched the first 2 episodes
Yeah.
years ago when it first came out,
Uh-huh.
and there was so much good stuff out at the time that I was like, I don't need this, you know.
Bloodline is fucking
But
great.
now that I have nothing to watch and I'm able to appreciate it more, yeah, it's a great.
Really good.
I'm on episode 11 of the first season. You know there are 3 seasons.
Yeah.
3 seasons.
Wow. Come on, what else you got there, Paolo?
Do we agree that we cannot have a world without armies?
Well, we're back to that.
No, that's what this whole episode was. Don't worry.
No, but that was the question 20 minutes ago.
But we can't, right?
I think we can.
You think if we can't, we're fucked because they're the biggest polluter, and we're gonna have more wildfires, more floods, whatever. Like, there's nothing stopping it.
I just want to say for the record, I believe it's already too late. I believe we are already fucked. So, enjoy the ride, guys.
She said we live in a panopticon. You remember that? You know about this, the surveillance state?
Yeah.
Do you know what that is?
No.
It's a setup where there's like in a jail, and there's one main guard thing in the
Like
at all
in
the
Natural
cells.
Born Killers.
Exactly. That's what a panopticon is. I looked that up. Big words.
You know when you're asking about like a world without the military,
Yeah.
like you.
Yeah.
Why are you talking like that?
Yeah. Yeah, I know what you're
Well,
talking
it
about.
seemed like you were going to call him Daddy after that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Daddy.
Hello. Hello.
You're gonna get canceled just like fucking Shane Gillis.
Let's hope. Let's hope.
What the hell was I talking about?
When I talk about a world with no military, it's like a world with no racism.
Oh yeah, like you definitely would think that you would need military. Like everybody needs to protect their borders. And I think I can agree with that. But when you look at like the way the military is set up in just the United States, which you'd think would be the country to fight off the most corruption, seems one of the most kind of diplomatic places in the world when you hear about other elections and things like that, you know, that it'll never happen because such a small little minority are driving, right? Like the people who make all the money.
Mm-hmm.
You think it's a lot of people?
There's 2,200 billionaires on Earth.
Okay.
No, you were asking how many people have that money. There's 2,200 of them. That's all.
Yeah, it's hardly any of them.
I get it. There's 8 billion. I was backing up your point.
Okay,
yes,
yeah.
I'm saying out of 8 billion people, there are only 2,200 of us that have $1 billion or more.
And yet it continues and continues.
Well, you can't have a military that is just like, oh, there's a war? Okay, we'll ramp it up in a month. We'll be ready to go. It's always got to be ready to go.
Well, if everybody... Here's a way we could do it. And this is just spitballing off the top of my head.
I like where this is going.
If we all agreed to a standard arm, then we could do away with a lot of the military hoopla. If we all just agreed, okay, the only way we're going to fight wars is with swords.
Fisticuffs, yeah. We'd all have to do that. And one country go, yeah, sure. As they're making their secret gun factory.
And you know how that would be possible?
No.
If you had one government that controlled the world.
Okay, what's going on? Hold on.
I'm
Hold on.
confused. Yeah, my mind just exploded. I threw up on my mouth a bit.
Like, what is happening here?
That's the solution, you say?
No.
Oh.
But I mean, if you're looking for this to work, I think you would need a central government.
So we can say definitively we're screwed because there's always going to be armies.
Yeah,
We're
fucked, totally.
There's always, I guess to Matt's point, there's always going to be this really small group that ruin it for everybody. And I think that's true for everything.
Well, speaking of small groups, Abby's certain, it's inevitable, there's going to be a war with China. Will that be crazy?
Yeah, but she also then was like, they have one base outside of their country.
Well,
so.
no, it would. I don't see it being a war like
It's not going to be a
Afghanistan.
ground. It's not going to be a ground war.
Like, yeah.
It won't be a hot war.
Well, it might be. Like, what if someone sinks someone's battleship or aircraft carrier? Like, they're gonna make the big move to take Taiwan over, and someone's gonna have to go back and shoot them back. Like, it's.
I was listening to somebody the other day,
Scary.
and they were saying like, there's always this headline, you know, China battleships in the Chinese seas, blah, 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 you know, some scare thing.
It's called the South China Sea.
And they're like, yeah, this is like saying there are fucking
There's U.S. naval
US
ships
in the Hudson River.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So it's propaganda.
I think a lot of it is,
But that being said, this is Abby Martin who's saying all the news is propaganda, or 80% of it is manufactured by corporations and government and military, saying that same thing. So that's sort of contradictory, right? She's even like I've heard too many different people who probably disagree on everything say war with China. Like, it's just inevitable, and I don't feel they're necessarily selling it. I know the U.S. military definitely needs to sell it because then you can get billions for your planes or whatever.
well, here's the deal, Kay. It'll either be China or the aliens.
Well,
But the U.S. needs a war at all times.
We'll get to that. That's a little further on.
After what we saw last year, it's an easy dub for China because all they got to do right away is just cut off the supply of toilet paper, and then it's pure chaos over here. Like, we won't make it.
That has to be changing. Someone's making masks. Like, I'm sure someone has changed. Or if no one has, we've learned nothing from this fucking pandemic. I'll tell you that. Fuck it, right? Fuck
Kamar,
it.
I'll tell you right now, we've learned nothing.
Do you guys agree with the statement that humans are the sexual organs of the machines?
No, because most likely we will end humanity before we come up with some sort of way to like, or we're already in it, in which case, yes. Actually, yeah. You know what? Since I think I'm a simulation guy, the answer to that is definitively yes.
Because it's interesting to think that we are progressing towards something or something is coming up on us. You know what I mean? Like we think we're making the machines and advancing, but advancement is just about to take us over.
Yeah, and the internet is a perfect example of that. Like,
Well,
here's
algorithm.
this thing where we're like, this has made our lives infinitely better. I bet that would be the blanket statement you would hear from most people. And you let the machine into your brain a long time ago.
Okay.
You are the ghost in the machine.
I'm like, it has infected me with technology.
If AI is a organism that is trying to either bond symbiotically with the human race or take over the human race or whatever it is, whatever it needs to do to propagate itself, we think, oh, well, that's going to happen when, we let Elon put the chip in our neck. Then we're part of the machine. That happened a long time ago.
Do you think the only vaccine for this would be in the woods, in the cabin, unplugged?
Yes, I think
You gotta get away from it
I
all.
think it has to.
That's
I
the
think it
only
has to go away.
Because I think we all agree if you go out to the country, within 2 days, if you're there for 3 days, your stress, anxiety, everything just fades away, right? You're just like, the birds fly, the water splashes.
Yeah, being
life
out there
is
is
good.
nice,
It
yeah.
really is therapeutic. So anyone who's stuck in a city, get out of there.
Yeah, but hold on. Let me ask you this. Let's say you're 90 and you're incredibly wealthy, but you're very sick. Like you're at the end, and someone comes to you and says, "Listen, for 80% of your wealth, I can plug you into a computer, and you can go live, another life that will, feel like a normal life, but it will drag out for hundreds of years." Do you do that, or do you just die?
I would have to think about it, I guess. It would very much test my resolve on what I think happens in the afterlife, if there is one.
I would die.
Because at that point, I'm kind of signing up for an artificial afterlife, right? Where, look, if when my lights go out, for all I know, zip, zap, zoom, through the matrix, you're right back in a new body starting again. I would feel pretty foolish about signing up for fucking
For Elon's world.
Jim Jom's life extension program,
Yeah.
Chillon. At one point, Joe was like, fuck a bunch of nerds at Starbucks, and realized he sounded like such a douchebag. Because he actually sounded like the person that people criticize him for being. As I'm sorry, they're not all nerds in Starbucks.
Well, and Joe often forgets who he is, and that's okay because he's a pretty down to earth guy, but fuck millionaires. You know what I'm saying?
you say that till you're a millionaire.
Joe can't say that anymore. There's
No.
he is that tiny little percentage of people.
That reminds me, I'm glad you brought that up. This week I finally fully understood him taking the bag because I got my first Joe Rogan read ad read on Spotify.
Me too.
Because he kept talking about, now maybe it was just a Canadian thing, maybe it was a licensing thing, I'm not sure. Maybe you Americans have been getting this the whole time, and I have premium, which pisses me off to the X. I can't even fucking describe how much it makes my blood boil. But yeah, I got my first, because he kept talking about his sponsors. He was like, they're a sponsor of the show there. And I was like, how? Other than you bringing them up.
Oh yeah, no, he does a read.
But now it was like, yeah, I was like, okay, I get it.
Two things. One, remind me, Lex, in 1 second.
Okay.
And what the fuck were we just talking about?
Joe ad reads.
Joe ad reads.
Because now it makes more sense. He got the 100 million maybe up front or in like stock.
Oh yeah.
And then is continuing to make whatever money he was making.
So let me get this straight.
Yeah.
Me,
Yeah. Simon.
I'm bootlegging Spotify.
Yeah.
I get ads. I mean, I just
What does your
started getting
bootlegging
them.
mean? You don't pay?
Meaning
It's on the cheap.
I don't pay.
Okay. Well, they offer
They
it for
can
free.
do anything they want to me.
Yeah.
You pay money
Yes.
and you're still getting ad reads.
Yes. So Simon, I'll take it a step.
What the fuck?
Well, I'll take it a step further. This is dicey.
That's like that. Sorry, just 1 second.
Yeah.
That's like the ads on Sirius Radio. That's why I canceled my subscription because I was having to listen to
I
ads.
paid for this.
I paid for this.
Yeah.
That means no ads. Anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
I mean, HBO in a way they get away with it because they only show HBO ads.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? At the end of the show, they'll show you like
And they don't do it in the middle of the show.
no, that's it. It's a full running show. I emailed them, Simon, because I was like, hey, what's going on here? Like, I pay premium. It says premium. I'm not supposed to get ads. And I got, like, the fucking, oh, we're so sorry. Give us a minute. We'll look it up. And this was their response. Spotify advertises ad-free music listening.
Oh, it's a loophole. Podcasts aren't music.
Precisely.
And you're never listening to a song and an ad comes on. So
Okay.
they hold up there in the bar.
now back to Lex. That's stupid and disgusting, and that company should be totally ashamed of itself.
Sounds like it's other level to me.
Lex, did I mention this last week that I heard Lex say that he had talked to Joe Rogan and Joe said he would walk away from the money?
Yes.
I did mention that.
Yes, you mentioned that,
Okay.
yeah.
I think you should also do that in the morning when you complain about people. Have your little Lex moment for your week. Just spitballing this off the top of my head. Could aliens?
Whoa, hold on. I'm not complaining about things in the morning.
I'm not.
Like, I'm not starting like a Instagram channel to complain about things.
Simon's morning rant.
No,
love it.
I was saying here, like with my 3 minutes of time for my week.
And for that moment, I think you should have a little Lex moment as well.
Oh, I see. Okay,
Okay.
gotcha.
I knew you didn't understand.
I didn't
I
understand
didn't.
either.
You
So
didn't
they-
understand me, or you didn't understand him?
Him.
Yeah.
I didn't understand what was going
But
on
you
at all
understand
right
now
there.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So he says high pants. You know what Lex said this week? I don't know.
Lex hates high pants. No, he likes everything. I bet he likes high pants.
Could the aliens be time travelers having to come back and get something?
Yes.
That's
right when you
exciting,
said,
right?
could the aliens be? I didn't even have to hear the rest of that statement. Anything could have come out of your mouth, and my answer would have been yes. You know why, Kamar? Because they're aliens. We have no fucking idea.
And they could conceivably
Yes.
project to us what we think they are.
Yes.
Okay.
I didn't
right
even
on, right on.
understand what you said, but yes.
What do you know about the Melbourne incident?
The Melbourne incident.
No, it's Melbourne, mate.
Melbourne.
What was the
On
Melbourne
you, mate.
incident?
Okay, it's like a huge UFO thing that like 60 people saw and it landed as a woman's foot. No, nothing.
Is Kamar drop? Like, are
She-
you okay
she brought
lately?
this- She was talking about Nigeria, the Melbourne
She
incident.
was talking about Zimbabwe.
Yeah, and she also said the Melbourne
Okay,
incident, but you
Melbourne.
never mentioned it, so I thought you were
I
going to.
I don't know a lot about it.
She didn't go too much into it, but she's saying all these different reports of people saying she sees something has got her now balls deep in aliens.
You know what? The one that nobody ever talks about, but is very interesting. I'm going to look more into this Melbourne one.
Melbourne.
Melbourne.
Come on.
Restaurant.
Fucking cunt.
Is the Rendlesham Forest. That was this, it's in Britain somewhere, and it was an army base. And
You told us about this.
I did.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Gets no play.
Just put that down there.
And
I'll
that
just leave that
Zimbabwe
there.
one. Did you guys ever watch The Phenomenon? The movie.
Yeah, we did. We
the,
did. Remember that time we said we'd get out of the way?
James Fox?
James Fox. No.
Is the one with the little alien in it?
No.
Oh.
No. You should watch this, Kamar. You'd like it. He's like a credible guy-ish. But anyways, yeah, they do a big thing on the Zimbabwe case. That was where the UFO landed at the school. And all these kids saw it. 30 kids saw it. And they all reported the same thing. And teachers saw it as well. And they later in life came out and said, yeah, the administration got us to say it wasn't true, but we saw it. This was when Joe fought back because she said she didn't know who it was, but it's John Mack. That's who, I guess Joe knew that.
I'll look into it, but this episode really got my wheels turning because we had the argument that they have these crazy satellites that could see anything, And then Joe says, well, they can't put that out because they can't let people know exactly what they can do. Makes sense. Why they would need aliens information released is because they're running out of nails to hammer. Space Force.
Yep.
Beautiful.
You sound like Trump right now. Space Force, beautiful.
She said there's microprocessing computers that could project images that you could see something. I don't know if you guys saw the opening ceremony, but they had 1,800 drones in the middle of the
I've seen those
stadium
before, yeah.
And it turned into the planet, and like it was take your breath away, but still rudimentary. But just consider like Pong, right? But you could have like 50,000 drones, and you could think you're seeing the giant spaceship.
So if you were the government, sorry, Matt.
No, go, yeah.
If you were the government and you were planning on doing like an Operation Bluebeam, which is exactly what you're talking about, a fake alien landing.
Or just occupation in the sky. That's better, because you don't have to walk up to it.
Aliens. Landing was whatever, superfluous. Doesn't matter. You wouldn't just all of a sudden have it appear in the sky over Washington. First, you would get people used to the idea that it's real, the phenomenon, which is exactly what they're doing.
Because they want to get carte blanche to fire up the Space Force.
So
Get
when
as much money as they can.
Yeah, well, more nails, like you said. If that's their plan, it's pretty fucking brilliant. And again, it's just the exact thing they always do and always get away with.
The one thing, though, about these drones is they could do that, use it for that. But I was thinking a positive thing is eventually think of every drone like a, what's it called? TVs are just pixels, right?
Yeah.
So every drone's a pixel. You could have a giant
Massive
movie
screen.
screen that everyone in Ottawa could like just put on your thing and all watch a movie in the sky. That will happen because I just imagine it. I put it out in the. Do you know what I mean? Have you seen the globe?
They could project out like
You've got to see the globe because it makes your. They could make anything. Maybe not now.
they
but
could
soon.
project out Amber Alerts with like a
Just-
photo in the
just-
sky. Yeah.
Or on the moon. What if people can start projecting on the moon? You say Tony's Pizza.
You pay for ad space on the
slices.
moon.
Anyways, well, 4 we was like, the drop's coming. Why they telling us now? It's all to get money for Space Force.
And like, if it is, so you know Luis Elizondo? He's
Nope.
the guy who used to work
yeah,
with,
sorry.
what's his name at To the Stars Academy?
Tom DeLonge.
Tom DeLonge. So he's working there. They make that TV show Unidentified where they're telling people that aliens exist, or sorry, that UAPs exist. They never say aliens. It's always, these are unidentified aerial phenomena.
Do you know why that changed from UFO? Sorry, I shouldn't interrupt.
It's just to give it more credibility. It's so you don't, because they want it to be a real subject now, so you don't have people saying like, flying saucers anymore. Fuck, man.
I knew I should have done that. I'm sorry, Simon. Ted Elizondo, Tom DeLonge.
Oh, yeah. So the narrative that's going on right now is, well, he's left To the Stars Academy. It wasn't serious enough. He has a real mission that he has to do to let the people know what's going on. And a lot of the UFO guys are like, this guy's our savior. This is what we needed. Disclosure is coming. This is what's pushing all this release of all this stuff. There's a really small kind of faction of people who are like, this guy's a plant from the government to what you're saying. Because if they are doing some whole thing where they're trying to convince you that there's going to be some threat so that they can then pour tons of money into Space Force, this would be a really clever way to do it, because by running the narrative that he is like this righteous dude who's pushing away from this kind of corrupt organization of To the Stars, or not corrupt, but like rinky dink, you know what I mean? And they're doing important work. then you get this portion of the UFO people who are like with you. If you just put UFOs up in the sky, like the government just comes out and says, hey guys, we're fighting aliens now, tons of people aren't going to believe.
No, the problem is if they say we're fighting aliens, we then have like a united front, and we then hate each other a lot.
They don't even
less.
have to say we're fighting aliens. We have to be prepared for aliens. That's all they have to say. And
No,
then you
'cause
have
if they
an
were- no.
invisible enemy.
If they right away said aliens are an active threat, right away, any war with China is just like, we're like, who gives a fuck?
But that might destabilize the world, as we discussed before.
Yeah, maybe. It's a good point.
Because if it's imminent that there's going to be an alien attack, I'm taking a motorcycle off a fucking parking garage.
But if alien space, or if unidentified, let's call them others, if other spacecraft appear over Phoenix and are just sitting there, and they become the threat, this existential threat, because you don't know what's on there, you don't know what the hell's going on, they would have to convince other countries that it's real, or they would all have to be in on it, right?
Yeah, especially if it is that crazy technology of just a drone projection sort of thing. Someone could figure that out. That's not what they say.
This is what I mean. If you have a satellite up top of all those drones, don't you think you'd be able to figure out what's going on? That's not one thing. That's a million little things.
Well, if that happens, that my first head is going to go, that is something they've made, not that is aliens from this point forward, after listening to this podcast.
So then from that point forward, do you think that everything you're seeing, the tic-tac, this is all...
I don't feel like I'm seeing the TikTok, because it is what it is. If I saw something, my own eyes, not something recorded, and I'm not discrediting the tapes or all that, until I see it, I've seen nothing.
But this is what I mean. And then you're going to see it, and you're going to say it's fucking drones.
Yeah.
Like, it's a no-win situation.
It is. Well,
You're never going to believe.
but I do believe there's aliens. Again, I think spaceships is like talking like a caveman.
Right.
It's interdimensional. It has nothing to do with force or like I watched more of that Expanse. They could go crazy hardcore on those ships. You know what I mean? Like, how would you build that? Like, what is a factory? Do you build it on Earth and then it's got to be built in space? Where do you get it's just, we are way.
When we do find out what it is, do you think it's going to be like a moment where humans are like, oh my God, how did we miss that? Or, oh my God, how is that possible? Are you catching my jive?
The dimensional?
Whatever it ends up being, whatever way it is that if it's a consciousness thing, then I feel like we're going to be like, oh shit, this is something we missed. We've had this the whole time and we just couldn't figure out a way to harness it.
My answer to you is humanity can never agree on anything.
Humanity?
And it will always be a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B.
No, but if you had to take a guess as to which one it is, do you think it's we've had this all along, or they have some tech that we've never heard or seen or whatever?
Well, okay, because I've done, and this sort of parries into the Ari Shaffir, enough trips and shared consciousness things, I think all along.
And you, Matthew?
I have no fucking idea.
Well, if you had to put some money on it, gambler.
15 to 1 odds.
What's exactly the question?
When we find out about the phenomenon,
Well, I don't know what the phenomenon
it's
is.
whatever this is, whatever these.
He gets vaguer.
Yeah,
and vaguer
he just
as you
wraps
ask for
his
a
arms
more
around nothing.
specific
Yeah.
question.
When we find out, okay, when UFOs get here, just here, we'll do layman's terms for you.
Matt. If we
Yeah, this
think
guy's a
the
real fucking
face
piece of
up in
work.
the sky.
When the flying saucers get here,
Yeah.
are we going to find out that their mode of transport was a warp drive, or a infinite probability drive?
God, I fucking hope they show up and it's like a rickety cartoonish, like, yeah, it's barely showing up. Yeah, he comes crashing in. Yeah, I barely made it in that time.
If they're using a warp drive,
I thought that was funny.
if they're using a warp drive, Matt, that's pretty much how it is.
But a warp drive is a nuclear drive, right?
Simon, again, I think
Because warp drive doesn't exist. So you're talking about something as if it exists that doesn't exist.
that's what I'm talking about. What I'm saying is when it happens, it will be something so far beyond us. Like, they won't be able to explain it.
That's what I'm asking. Will it be so far beyond
Yes,
us,
of
or will it be
course.
something that we already have
No.
that we just don't know?
No.
Well, we have a disagreement.
It would be like I assume it would be like if you went back right now to like ancient Egypt with your iPhone and like just started like, I mean, even if you sent an engineer, you know what I mean? Because sending us to ancient Egypt with an iPhone, like I have no fucking,
Let's make it even easier,
wait.
Maddie. If you sent a motorcycle back to medieval times,
sure.
the only thing they would probably be able to do with it is like repurpose the wheels into something better. They wouldn't be able to make the engine run because none of those.
Get that one tank of gas if it came full.
I mean, you never know though. That's the thing is like because of reverse engineering, like let's say in this world that we live in right now, we can time travel. Okay. So just one time we can time travel. And for some reason we bring like Kamar packing a fully inflated basketball. We decide we're bringing a motorcycle. Okay. We're going back to medieval times. We leave it there. We might come back to a completely different world only because, like you said, they might not know how to machine any of the parts. They might not know, but just through the sheer seeing the mechanics of it.
They might have taken the engine, to Kamar's point, if it was full of gas, they might have taken that engine off and used it to power a light before light was meant to come.
We're just blowing themselves up.
And
Nothing else happened.
changed everything. Butterfly effect, you know?
If you're in Egypt with an iPhone charged, because I don't think an iPhone uncharged would be like, ooh, ah.
Yeah, it's
sort of
dead, yeah.
Gold is cooler than that. What are you doing, bro?
You're trying to explain them. Listen, when it's on, it's incredible what it
Well,
does.
the Egyptians, there is some word out there that they had lights. They had figured out a way. You've heard of their batteries, the Egyptian batteries.
Yes.
So who fucking knows, man? You might have been powering your iPhone all day long.
But if you had an iPhone and could take pictures, you can't send them to anyone, but show someone them, you'd be a
It's
god.
you and
You know what
Cleopatra.
I mean? Like, hey, wow, man. And you just pull the biggest Forrest Gump ever.
Straight up,
But I think you're right. Anything like that would definitely change the timeline.
There are two main camps out there, I think, of like what UFOs are. Whether it's like a nuts and bolts issue, where they have tech that is so far advanced that they're able to get from there to here, because we know they're coming from very long distances away. There's another camp that believes like it has something to do with consciousness and it's not so nuts and bolts, let's say. It's more held together with some
Quantum.
bubble gum.
Some quantum
and
shit.
spit, you know?
Gross.
But those are the two, like,
Possibilities.
those are the possibilities.
There's no third.
No, I mean, I think
I'm asking,
there
like-
probably is a third and a fourth and a fifth and a sixth and a seventh, but I think for the most part,
Simon,
like,
there's a good chance that like, let's say aliens came down and were friendly. There's a good chance that they could say, you guys have most of the materials or all of the materials needed to make whatever. You just haven't figured out anything close to, you know what I mean?
was it on this one that they were talking about the Muse?
It was on neither of these. Or it would have been Ari's. I would say it wasn't either because I do not have that in my notes. No, I never wrote down the
This
word
idea of the Muse, like,
I think that was a different podcast.
it
you
was
were
a different
listening
podcast,
altogether.
but it's
It might have been Jacob Dylan.
It's
The song
so
comes
it's
to
so
you.
interesting. It's this idea of like we look at a muse now when we read about it or whatever. It was a person. This Leonardo da Vinci had the muse was whoever this woman was the Mona Lisa, and he painted her and she brought him great inspiration. Or when you hear about like the muse in I don't know, whatever artist it was, and it was, this woman he fell in love with and it opened up his brain so he could do great things. But if you look at the muse as like Maybe the muse was like an alien entity type of thing, a consciousness type of thing that got into these people. That
Why does it? But why does everything have to be aliens? Just out of curiosity, like in your world, we humans are capable of little to nothing, basically,
Without
right?
the aliens.
Okay,
give us a leg up.
forget aliens. There's this like something that's beyond them. I was writing this story, and a lot of the time they would call it God. God was guiding my hand. I didn't know what was going on. These things were coming out of me that weren't me. You are looking at me like I am fucking crazy. That's recorded all throughout history. We just look at it as, he was talking about an abstract thought,
But you have to believe God
something
exists for that to
else
make
had
sense.
my hand. It doesn't have to be God is my point. It's something else had my hand.
Yeah, but Simon, like you're an artist. When you create art, you're not like, I don't know, where does it come from?
When you make a wicked bet, is it you or does something speak to you? -1, goals against,
No, I don't know. That's a good
goals
question.
for.
I guess
a good
it's
question.
different if you're painting the Mona Lisa or like, inventing what we understand as gravity.
You don't invent gravity, but
Well,
did you that?
in art, it's also different. If you're painting the Mona Lisa, that's not God. That's you're painting what you see. Do you know what I mean?
That's a
Like,
good point too. When you paint one of your
repeating
little
it.
like character things,
someone being
that's just out
a
of nowhere.
model or whatever. Yours is more impressive than the Mona Lisa. I love your art. Everyone, Simon's an amazing artist.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
No,
That has
Simon's a terrible artist. A good artist shows their art.
Well,
nothing.
he should say thank you when he gets complimented, and then maybe we can move forward. He's so shy and humble. I love it.
Well,
I
because
love
he
it.
believes that the aliens make the art, not him. He's just a conduit. He's a conduit for which the aliens
Is it the
create
great
art.
men who come into paint?
I definitely do not think that.
Yeah.
Because I don't think that there's greatness in what I do. I don't think something is channeling.
Well, you sounded
its
douche
ideas
if you
through
said that,
me.
but I think what you do is great. So we're allowed to say it.
But
you
people
can't.
who do really important things, like
Wait, hold on.
and who give that up to God or to divine intervention or to a dream I had or to
Okay.
a fucking apple falling on my
Okay, I
head.
got one more topic. This is all going to come back at the end of the Shaffir episode.
All right, well,
to be honest with you.
we'll move on.
I was sort of Matrix moment when they talked about Cuba. We were talking, and I had my mental stroke when I was talking about one thing, and then all of a sudden realized because the narrative that Venezuela and Cuba can't work because they're socialized, but America is like, why you punch yourself in the face? Like,
Yeah. Well, that's why when you were saying, you were like, have you guys been to Cuba? I've been there. Socialism looks like it fucking sucks. And I was like, okay.
It's I went through the thought live on the show. I mean, it was very uncomfortable to watch live, but that is something that has to be done there. Like every year, the UN, this is great, wrap it up. Every year, the UN votes to lift the resolution, except for US and
Israel.
just get their fucking 2 cents in there. I don't know. Anyways, Abby Martin fighting for the little guy, I feel like.
Uh-oh.
No. Yeah, fighting for the little guy.
And it was weird. She's been away for a while. Do you have a point you wanted to make? I was just wrapping it up.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say, I can't believe that I talked about high-waisted pants in my...
This guy's going back to how his week
All
was.
over the place.
Dude, so 5:30 in the morning, I'm old, I get up, take a piss. I'm like not even a quarter awake, okay? I am pissing, and I am still like maybe partly in a dream. All of a sudden, giant explosion. I think, did that just happen in my brain? I didn't know what the fuck was going on. Finally, I realized the power has gone out. So I'm like, okay, that's weird. What exploded? So I go outside and I am looking around to see what's going on. I can hear like some chattering, some and then responding and then chattering. And I go back inside to, I don't think anything of it. I go back inside, try and figure out what's going on. We call Hydro. They show up like 2 minutes later. And the guy's in the backyard, and we're looking at the cylinder thing. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm talking about? Mm-hmm. Those big cylinders, the cans. as they say in the industry. And on top of it is a little tiny raccoon. Okay? This thing
It's on fire.
Are we going to just let that go? The raccoon?
has electrocuted itself.
Oh.
And has shorted out
Yeah.
all the power on my block. And when the guy shows up, he's like, he has this big long stick. And he's like, yeah, usually we just brush the torched carcass off the top of the thing. Like, they couldn't believe this thing was alive, so they had to call a different crew to come.
It lived?
It was up there alive, and I could see it. It was so cute,
Oh, that
and it
poor
was
little
like
thing.
all fucked up
Jesus.
because it had just gotten like
Oh,
so much
20,000
electricity
volts.
pumped through it. Meanwhile, so these guys go away. I'm sitting there watching the raccoon. I turn around for 2 minutes. It's alive, gets away.
And what if it turns into like Spider-Man or like
I was just
Dude.
thinking
superhero,
that.
super raccoon?
It's eating all the trash
Did you
in
guys
the
ever see the
neighborhood.
cartoon Ben and Me? It's about a mouse and Benjamin Franklin who helps invent electricity.
Oh, yeah, I've seen
No.
it.
But when
Matt's
he-
too young.
When he puts him up in the kite,
Yeah.
and he gets struck by, and Ben goes up to him and he's all frazzled. He goes, "Simon, was it electricity?" And he loses his mind. Was electricity? This has nothing to do with anything. Just like what you just did had nothing to do with anything. How could you do your week at the end of the?
I know,
Martin?
it's crazy, but what a thing to happen, right?
Yeah.
Like, what
That
a
is
week.
the story of the week.
Yeah.
This is the problem with you too. You come in here like you don't even want to do the podcast every week, which is a problem. Okay.
A little bit.
Yep. Then you then when we ask how the week is, you seem so verklempt that we're even asking.
Complain
Like,
about
I don't
women's
even want
pants.
to be here. Don't ask me about my fucking week. High waisted pants suck. Move on. And then an hour later, 18 minutes later, you're like, oh, by the way, some wild shit happened. A raccoon
Why
got
don't we
struck
just call
by
it the Me
lightning in my
Show?
backyard and then ran away. And now he's super raccoon running around my fucking neighborhood.
I would have been remiss to not mention that.
Probably
I'm glad you
agreed.
didn't. Host Joe, or how was your week, Simon?
Do you want to rate it then?
Then nobody would have heard
One
it
last
more.
thing. You know how there's all these social gloves and all these fighting and like people want to see spectacles or whatever. Do you think there'd be a market for debates? And like would Abby Martin and Sam Harris? You know what I mean? Because they have nothing to gain from doing debates and shitting on each other, whatever. For like we'll put it out there and see what people like of it. But would you? Is there anyone you'd pay per view to see argue or discuss something?
Absolutely not.
I'd like to see, personally, I'd like to see a Jewish person stand up and say
Hold on. We said
The
it wasn't.
other
We
side
said it
of it.
wasn't a Jewish issue.
Israeli, you meant.
an Israeli person. That's what I meant. I'm sorry, Matthew. But not an
to
Israeli
clarify.
person, somebody who supports that side, because it's not me and I don't know enough to like fight back on anything she said, but I'm sure there are two sides to this story.
Well, I will tell the listeners that Benjamin Netanyahu's son was trying to get on Joe Rogan. I know this because they emailed us.
No way.
Yeah.
As if you didn't send that to the New York Times or the Post or whatever. You could have got canceled and promoted and everything, man.
That's very interesting.
Wrap it up.
How could they not? That doesn't make any sense. That's got to be like a.
Why? I read the email. It was, we get these, listen, because I made the email public, at our email public on the first like 100 episodes, some intern put us on a list as Joe Rogan's email. So for like 2 years, we got tons.
If we had $1 for every email we got for Joe,
Oh, we'd be a lot. But I finally emailed them, and I asked someone that emailed us, I was like, where did you get our email from exactly? And he was like, oh, this database from this company. So I emailed that company and they took us off. But we still get the occasional one slip through the cracks.
I mean, you would think Netanyahu's crew would be rolling with like Mossad type fact checkers and would be able
well, I
to
swear,
figure
one of
it
these
out.
days I'm going to do a Kamar set and I'm just going to book them in here. And we'll see what happens. I tried to get Tom Segura.
it'd be great to have a camera. Just because they leave, obviously, but they react.
They'd leave right away. Yeah,
what
of course.
the fuck is going on here?
Imagine if I had a bald cap on.
Okay, I'll take the bull by the horns here. I give it a 4.2. We like Abby Martin. Welcome back.
I give it a 4.
And I'll give it a 4 as well.
All right, there we go. We are going to take a quick break. We might probably pay a bill. We should pay something, I guess. And we'll be right back. All right, welcome back. Thank you to, I don't know, On It, someone. If you're watching, I had to adjust the camera. I want to make sure Kamar got his fair shake.
1885, Shane Gillis.
Aren't you guys beginning not? This has nothing to do with Shane Gillis.
Never does.
Aren't you beginning to think that the whole game is just fixed?
Well, first of all, I truly believe that we're living in your simulation. So if you think the game is fixed, it's on you to change it. You just need to will that into
Interesting.
existence.
Interesting.
Which game is fixed?
Just everything. Like you were just talking about, Matt was saying, I'd rather bet on sports than on e-gambling. And we're like, well, e-gambling is probably just fixed because whatever.
But see, Simon, okay,
The
go ahead.
algorithm.
And Matt said, I want to bet on real sports. And you said, well, what if real sports just end up being fixed? And it just, you know,
Is everything a sham? Yeah.
is really everything just a sham?
But
I
Simon,
think
this is
so.
the thing. The reason that I don't believe any of that is fixed is because they already have such a distinct advantage. Like, you know that coming to the table that the best you're getting is like, you know, a 47% chance of winning.
Yeah, no, I totally hear what you're
But
saying.
we do know
Matt.
basketball was fixed.
What's that? Yeah, basketball. But again, the point about sports being fixed is you still, like, okay, so let's say it's fixed in Sacramento.
Someone has to win. There has to be an outcome. Yeah, I get it.
Precisely. Someone has to win. The game is going to get played. The props are going to be, you know what I mean?
The point was, are they just manipulating everything?
Maybe.
And
Well, I think that
sometimes
we have an agreement.
you're going to get real competition, but for the most part,
Yeah.
in the end, it's going to work out the way it was supposed to work
But
out.
I also disagree with you because I feel like most people that compete are competitors and they want an honest game and they want to fucking
Again, it's like the people who really believe that they had a hand in sending man to the moon. Like they are 100% convinced that that's what they were doing.
Are
The
you
only
done?
people who don't know, you know what I mean, is the guy who actually stepped out onto the moon.
Oh, I got that picture. Have you seen the picture?
No,
Of the picture of the boot on the moon and the picture of his boots?
it's not even the same.
Not
boots.
even the same tread.
Well, couldn't he have been wearing different outfits? Like maybe they had moonwalking boots.
No,
and
they show it as the suit that was on the moon. I'll show it to you
Wow.
after.
Wow.
1885, Shane Gillis, Too Late. Had you guys heard him on any other podcasts?
No.
Because he's told this whole thing. For me, I hear him on Kreischer, many times on the Skanks, all this. Was
I've
just-
heard this story for 2 years.
And it's weird how he said when it was happening, he was like, yeah, I'll just go on Rogan. And Rogan's like, what do you think you'd do? Reason why I think it's weird is because that guy got pulled off stage at the college.
Yeah, and he brought him on like
He
right
brought-
away.
So there was a change.
Oh no, that's
there.
something that Joe would totally do. I remember when this happened to Shane,
Mm-hmm.
we were like, yeah, Joe should bring him on, give him a chance to have that platform
That's
to
what the
tell
people
what
thought
really
should have been
happened.
done.
I mean, keep in mind, in Joe's defense, it was like mid-COVID. He was trying to move to Austin, trying to move the whole operation. When he said he was fully booked, like, I don't know.
You don't think it was because he thought it was a hot potato?
I don't think Joe believes in hot potatoes.
I mean, according to Joe,
Well, again, he didn't have Tony. Yeah. I mean, you know what? You might be right.
according to Joe, he thought that it would be good for him to just weather the storm,
I think it was. I think that seeing where we are now, it is.
which maybe was the case.
Yeah, maybe. I
And he
mean,
come right away. He made it worse. Worse.
What would have made it worst?
I gotta say though, so I haven't heard him on any other podcast. So
This was your first
This
time?
was my first. So I had just a. Maybe this was just me, but the vibe I got was that Joe, like he knew he was gonna have to talk about this. I assume, and it seemed like he was done maybe a half hour in, and Joe just would not let this thing go. Like it felt like at one point I was like, okay, we're done with the SNL for sure, and then Joe just was like, okay, so back to SNL. Like it wouldn't end.
I have in my notes. At least he didn't start off. There's some banter in the beginning, and about a half hour in, he goes, "So SNL." An hour later, they have the exact same conversation.
Well, I think they were both drinking heavily.
But I thought Spotify had. Have you ever sometimes it skips back and all of a sudden you're listening to the same thing you listened to?
No, but I know what you mean where sometimes it's
That's
just
some weird
some
places.
audio glitches where, yeah.
That wasn't the situation. They were just having the same conversation over and over again. And Shay was keeping saying, and I thought it'd come on your show. And he's like, again, you keep saying this. Like, you already know that.
Hold on, wait, there was a hard, he said, Something was said in this one. I don't buy that was just like Jamie and his Butterfingers.
Oh, the fact that they had technical problems and had to re-record?
Because he was in the middle of saying something, and then all of a sudden it was just like...
This is possible. Do you guys think Tim Dillon is getting too big?
What does that mean, too big?
Well, I just feel like part of Tim's thing, just like Joe's, like, fuck the millionaires or something. You know what I mean?
Oh, so if he has $20 million...
He's got a house and a pool where Ari's sexually assaulting Shane.
I don't know. Tim's pretty good about, like, if you listen to his podcast, he's never hiding how much he spends on things.
No,
he's
you can't.
That's part of his thing is like, I'm this ridiculous gay guy who has no responsibilities and I'm going to spend all my money on everything.
I just wonder because he came up like, fuck the government, fuck the corporations. Like he was always a little guy. Not that he's little.
But
But
keep
that's
in mind,
like saying
too,
Alex Jones can't be Alex Jones because he has a lot of money.
Kamar, you also, though, like, think about it. You have a podcast where you're like, fuck the corporations. Give us 2 minutes. This is sponsored by MeUndies. You know what I mean? Like, at the same...
Yeah, I mean, the whole world's a sham, Simon.
The
You
whole
are
world is a sham.
Do you guys
Thank
find,
you.
though, that Tim Dillon doesn't really write jokes? It's like a tonal thing. He just says something that's true in his rant, and it's funny.
Yeah, he's
Like,
just
not
very
actually-
funny.
it's not
No,
actually
there's no jokes. I found that just back to Gillis, who I like a lot. Like, I like his vibe.
Such a bro.
I
He's
like
such
his
a bro.
comedy. I didn't like him on this podcast.
It's too bro.
He was trying too hard.
He was trying to be funny,
He was
yeah.
trying to be funny. He didn't need to do that. He kept saying, like, I'm trying to get into a groove, you know? But that comes when you have, like, real conversations. It's not something you're, like,
Act like you've
trying
been
to
there.
attain, you know?
Like he said, the day he got fired, he thought he was going to go on Rogan. So he's waiting for this moment all this time. There's no way it's going to come off natural.
I'm sorry, but that's also a very weird flex.
Which is...
I got fired from my job today. I just assume that, this comedian, like,
Well,
if you are Brian close to Joe, maybe that assumption is like, okay, or if you're Joey Diaz, I could assume why you'd be like, I just got fired from SNL for this bullshit. Joe might have me on. I don't think they're tight like that.
No.
Where you could just...
But I do think this, Matty, sorry to interrupt you.
That's fine.
I do think that the people who went to bat for Shane to Joe would have been people who Joe
Yeah, I get that.
recognizes as Ari would have gone to bat for Shane and said, Joe, you got to have this guy on. Jay, whoever, you know what I mean? Guys who Joe respects. And he still didn't do it.
A, it's not on Joe to save someone's career.
It's not. But I think Joe saying that, I wasn't even aware that this was happening, I think that's a little disingenuous.
Not a little. That's incredibly
he said he knew it was happening, and he considered having him on, but he thought it'd be better if he waited.
Anyways, yeah.
But I thought Joe legitimately in the next podcast with Ari is like, I'm sort of bummed that he thought that. Like you said, he was like, that is a weird flex. I honestly do believe that.
Again,
Well, I mean, I thought it was a weird flex. Like, why? It's just like Joe being like, people assume that I'm rich. I'm just gonna lend them $1 million, fucking rent free.
no, okay, that's crazy. But Joe is a high-profile comedian.
Yeah.
Also a guy who has a huge podcast and who is self-aware enough to know that he holds huge sway, meaning the people he brings onto the show can be made.
Yeah.
And he fights against for freedom of speech. This was a perfect example of that. And he just didn't act on it. And listen, I thought Joe was going to have him on. If I was a betting man, I would have bet that it fits into his whole narrative perfectly.
I bet if there's no pandemic, he may have been on sooner.
But
just put everything in array.
Joe said, I have too many people. It's all done too far in advance. But we know he brings in people he just didn't think this one was important enough.
Or he doesn't like Shane Gillis.
He didn't like Shane Gillis. Maybe because he was like skank material.
So they were talking about you can't have light without dark.
Sweet and the sour.
So, like, can we get rid of things? You know what I mean? I hate that I have to say racism, but, like, do you know what I mean? We can't have races being amazing working together without them fighting.
I don't know that I agree with that.
I know you think it could be eliminated. I just thought that was.
I didn't say that has nothing to do with racism being eliminated. I'm just saying, I don't know that I don't know.
Well, it's also to this thing of like Antifa, a QAnon. They're not trying in their mind to make the world a better place, right? They think what they're doing is for everyone's good.
Yeah.
They think, and depending what you need or where you are, you're going to think they're detrimental or positive.
Do you think if you asked Daryl Davis if we could eliminate racism, what do you think his response would be?
One conversation at a time. I mean, he's the proof in the pudding that there is a way forward. We don't work like that. But he is definitely the light.
Yeah, but I'm just saying if everyone kind of adopted his mentality and did it one person at a time, then it happens exponentially. And that's through that, I believe there's a chance. I'm not saying, I don't think it'll happen. No.
But the reason, another reason why I don't think it'll happen is they were talking about how, there was two white guys complaining about it. How you can't be racist unless you're white, basically.
Only white people could be racist,
But
yes.
like Chinese and Japanese don't like each other. Pakistan and Afghanistan don't like
there's a lot of people that don't like each other.
It's just too complicated.
Black people don't like Mexicans.
I don't think that one's true.
Oh, no?
No, I think you just made that one up.
I think you should.
We got canceled 3 times.
You should check your facts.
Good thing you're not on camera. What's the craziest party you ever went to?
Any of these stuffed animals could have said that. Well, that was the bear.
What's the craziest party I ever went to?
Shane.
Oh, yeah, we were talking about parties.
Shane Gillis is a bro of bros.
Or have you ever been in a riot at a party?
Were you at that party?
I've been at lots of riot parties.
Well, no, but you were at the 7-Eleven riot party?
I was.
I think
I was at the parking lot of the 7-Eleven.
So that was a crazy party.
Yeah.
That was a block away. That was just like my buddies.
At Ann Paquette's house?
No. That happened too, but my
It was
buddies.
around the other corner.
My buddy's
The other
parents went away for a month, and he was just having
Blowouts.
every week. I remember, I think it was 15 or 16, the go-to was get all your money together, give it to these older guys, they drive to Hull, come back, and with half your money, give you a case of beer and drive off, and everyone party all night. And then it started escalating, and we started figuring out cooler people to get the booze for, and this was just I think the house was getting renovated too.
That's
So
always
that
the
was
best
an
house
overall
to party
policy.
in, yeah.
But it got so big, the cops shut it down, and everyone went around the corner to 7-Eleven, and we destroyed 7-Eleven.
Somebody went through the window, didn't they? Or
So-
something went
Goldberg.
through
All the
Oh.
windows got smashed.
I believe Goldberg threw someone through the window.
And it was
If I
just,
remember
and it was
correctly.
just that it was just going on. It made the paper across the country, and that's where we thought we were this coolest. Do you know what I mean? But for you guys,
That would have been,
I was 16 or 17.
One of the people...
no, that's it's not, you're thinking of a different party.
Okay.
Yeah.
One of the people that worked at 7-Eleven told me that 7-Eleven grossed more money than any 7-Eleven in North America. And that it had more theft
I was
than
going
any
to say, it
7-Eleven.
had the
Yes.
most shoplifting.
I
for
did my
sure.
best to keep those numbers down.
I watched Pat Sullivan walk in there one day, and he stole a tub of ice cream. And, just smiled at the dude with that weird,
Were you at the bacon and the fan party?
Yes, but that wasn't a crazy party.
No, it just had a crazy outcome.
What about how House of Pain got its
Everyone
name?
got maced.
That was a crazy,
Kegger.
yeah.
Yeah, but that just got busted by the cops so fast. We were thinking we'll have a big bonfire underneath the bridge, and no one will notice this.
Mace always clears out a party really
Mace,
quickly.
yeah.
I remember I was at a party in South Keys because my mom lived in South Keys, so I knew a bunch of, South Keys Somalians and white kids. And I go to this party, and I was going to Gloucester High School at the time, and these 3 dudes and this girl from Gloucester High School randomly showed up to this party. I don't know how or why. Anyway, long story short, I guess they went to leave, and the girl goes to get her jacket out of the room that had all the jackets, and her bus pass and her wallet had been stolen. So she came to me because I guess I was the only person she knew, and she was like, "What do I Can you get my shit back?" And I was like, "No, I don't. What are you nuts? I don't know half these people, and I don't know them well enough to get your shit back." I remember telling her, I was like, "If I were you, I would just go, just quietly.
Count your
I
losses.
get that you're short bus, it sucks, but just go." And they didn't. And her boyfriend came back and the three of them got the absolute shit kicked out of them.
Well, we were bad, man. You could be at the wrong party
Easily.
very easily, or the
Very
wrong
easily.
bar, and all of a sudden, have you ever been in a swarming or like?
Oh, for sure. Dude, don't forget, I worked at bars my whole life. I watched people like, I worked a show for a local rapper who had his release party at Ritual. And his plan was to have $5,000 in inflatable balloons, like in cash, spread out around the ceiling of the venue.
Oh, that's a terrible idea.
Oh, unbelievably bad idea. But Simon, we didn't get close to that point. I don't love cops. I think I've made that abundantly clear. I've never in my life been happier to have a bar shut down early than that night. It was the most dangerous situation I've ever been put in my life. The bouncers, I've never felt like someone was going to get
Would you like
killed.
to have guns?
Would I have liked? No, guns would have made the scenario 10 times
Being a
worse.
jerk. We used to go to La Boom in Gatineau,
Of course.
buck a beer.
Dude, I saw so many people get their fucking heads kicked in at that place.
But you go with the
Jesus.
boys, like Rico would go there and order like a cafeteria trays of beers and just start handing them out to girls. You know what I mean? Hey, you little cutie like this. And you'd piss off the whole bar. By the end, everyone would want to jump us. We once had to run for our lives because the whole bar just swarmed us. And like, they were tough guys, but like you guys know, when you're outnumbered, you're outnumbered. And you're running, people are punching you, they're running out to the next person to punch you, you fall down, roll overhead. It's actually quite a fun experience if you get away with it without like having your nose broken.
Did you ever go to the
Real
liquor?
adrenaline
Did you
drop.
go to the liquor dome?
Yeah, I was too old for the Liquor Dome.
Did you? You didn't go?
No, we were Thunderdome people.
Okay, because the Liquor Dome had dollar drinks on Thursday and Friday. I remember Hootie used to come in with all the Asians, and he would order 500 cranberry vodkas.
Yeah.
And it was just insane. It was like the bartenders, like you couldn't get service for 25 minutes when Hootie walked in because
500.
I'm not kidding, dude. They would line up like just plastic cups
Just to look
and
like
just
ballers.
ice. Like it was like all hands on deck. And then it was funny because you'd be sitting there waiting for drinks, pissed off, and then Hootie would send 20 over to you, and you were like, I'm not even angry anymore. Like, I just got sent. But yeah, dollar drinks. I also saw so many people get the shit kicked out of them there.
Well, dollar drinks fights,
An
what?
obscene amount of
It
people.
was 50 cents at Broad Street when I used to go to Hull. But they were like, when you pour beers and the receptacle,
The well.
like that just goes to another
the
beer.
well, yeah. Fucking awful.
So
But you're
gross.
you're 16 with fake ID. What the fuck do you care?
Simon, I remember one night at the end of the night at Babylon, I was bussing, and my move was like I would take an empty beer case and I'd line the inside with a black garbage bag, and then I'd put an empty pitcher in it, and then clear the room like that. Like I'd take drinks and dump it in, right? So it's all, tight. I get back to the bar, I put the pitcher that has nothing but people's runoff and swill and ice on the bar, and I'm taking glasses out and putting them in the dishwasher, and this drunk dude walks up, grabs the pitcher, and just starts just chugging. And I'm like, dude, he probably drank a third of this.
So gross, man.
I assume that guy has hepatitis C.
That's something Steve will do it.
That's
sure.
a safe assumption.
Yeah.
So Joe was saying he thinks is the best thing to happen to Shane. Now it's a sketch show. You guys see his sketch show. It's pretty funny. And they did a good play off the Key and Peele name. And then they talked about Kyle Dunnigan, who's so funny. Do you guys watch him? Like, I don't follow him. Like I know it's funny, but
I don't find it.
I
that
don't
funny.
think it's funny.
Yeah.
You know
I
what
find
mean?
it pretty funny.
And so you follow him and crack up every
Not on
time?
Instagram. But when I do, like, I log on once a week, and I mean, his Bill Maher is stunning. Like, listen, you guys off the jump were like, you do impressions, and that's funny. If you think I'm funny for doing the terrible impressions I do, this guy, he's
I just find that whole face swap thing to be like distracting and lame, and I don't know.
That's fine.
I'm not into it.
Next time, then don't even look at it. Just like listen to his Jeff Goldblum or his Bill Maher. It's
Sure.
really staggering.
Sure. Joe's favorite part is what's taking me out of it is
The face swap,
the face
yeah.
swap, yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate what it is, but it just doesn't do
Like
anything for me.
Tim Dillon's Megan McCain is way funnier than anything Kyle Dunnigan does.
Well, that's not an impression. That's
in
just
my
like
opinion.
ridiculousness. What is the...
It's an impression.
it is, but Carl Dunnigan is trying to do a good impression. He's just doing a not Megan McCain impression, over the top. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So this is like the worst thing that ever happened to Shane.
I mean, he still took it pretty well.
Getting canceled, getting fired, like everyone hating him, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar shitting on him, whatever.
For sure.
Do you guys think like what the most public worst thing that ever happened to you?
What is the worst thing that ever happened to me? I don't know.
Do you know what I mean? Like it just everyone knows, and you just feel like everyone's looking at you. Nothing. When I was like 15 or 16, I was at a buddy's house. I've probably told the story before, but everyone went to bed. A couple guys had girls up, their girlfriends over, whatever, and I was down in the basement, and I was jerking off. And 4 buddies came back to the house because we were partying all week. The guy's parents were gone or whatever. And I was jerking off, and all of a sudden I heard just this. And I look up, and all 4 of them are looking at me. And I freak out, like, guys, this is what you do to me. You don't wake everyone up. So the guys and their girlfriends come downstairs. Everyone's aware of it. So there's about 8 people there. I'm like, yeah, whatever. It's embarrassing in front of 8 people. By like noon on the Monday, everyone in high school knew. And it was just, I mean, when you're in high school or whatever, it's like debilitating. It's embarrassment, you know what I mean? Like wearing a hat down low, certain hallways, obviously survived it. But, I mean, that's my cancel story. I was canceled for jerking off. And I've always thought, what the fuck? It should be the 4 guys staring at me jerking off were the real weirdos, right?
Yeah, and I mean, Kamar, of course, like I had heard that.
You were aware of that story?
I was aware of that story, yeah.
You heard it before I told you?
Of course, yeah. Of course. That's what I'm saying. I'm one of the people you are referring to.
And this was without social media. This was without social media.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Just now as I'm thinking about it, though, I'm like, out of all the things you could have got caught doing, jerking off hardly seems like a bad one. But back then, it was like such a big deal. I don't even know why.
I think I might have been suicidal. Like that night, I was like, I'm ruined. My reputation's ruined.
Yeah.
I'm ruined.
Like the lion.
Yeah.
Like
they already know.
it would have been a bigger deal if you had been like jerking off watching your buddies have sex. That would have been kind of weird.
Like in the closet?
Yeah. Then you're like a perv.
Yeah.
But you're just a dude in your own room pleasuring yourself.
I was in my buddy's basement. It's sort of...
I mean, that's kind of weird.
Well, you got half a pass, whatever.
It was an away game.
You thought you were alone. And everyone else is getting action, right?
Can you guys think of what the biggest apologies you've ever had to make?
The biggest apology.
Because this was also the biggest apology he had to do. And I think he regrets apologizing. I think he wished he had just got fired and said, fuck it.
Oh, I'm sure he thinks that now in retrospect.
In retrospect.
I don't know. Biggest apology. I don't know. It's a good question.
I don't know. Come on, I really wasn't expecting you to be
Obviously, you have one.
questioning people.
I thought, I guess, should I send questions to you before? I don't know. No, my biggest apology was probably when I went to rehab and I had to apologize to my parents for being an asshole. Like taking that accountability at like 17 and sort of.
Oh, then like I have a million apology stories of having to apologize to my parents for things.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Stealing money, failing university, all sorts of different shit. Like, no,
Did you do it in
seriously,
person or
I
write
could
a
sit
letter?
here and like, no, you have to do it in person.
have
There
to
was
do it
no
in person.
writing letters.
Well, he wrote his letter, you know what I mean? He didn't like go on, hi, I'm Shane Gillis. What I said was wrong. Let's end racism. He wrote a tweet.
But who like, I have to tell my parents I'm like dropping out of university and I write them a letter?
Might buy you some
Seems
time.
a little impersonal, you know?
Might buy you some time if you get home, you're hanging out with them and like, check the mail yet?
Like I know now you could probably do that in a text, but there, that's a in-person conversation.
I don't think it's going to be received.
Come on, I skipped
most apologies.
I mean, like throughout high school, I skipped so much school that it was just like always dicey coming home. You know what I mean? Like I had to gauge the room as soon as I walked in.
Or was there ever a time when they found out you hadn't gone to school for 50 days and you had to have it out?
Oh, for sure. Grade 9, I missed my first 49 math classes.
And did you try
My teacher called and was like, I've never met your son. It's November.
Did you try to tell your parents, like, there's a guy who's bullying me at school or whatever?
No, I was like, I don't know what to tell you guys. I was like, I just missed like the first 5. And then from there, I was like, it just snowballed. I was like, seems crazy to go now.
It was just a moment of disappointment all around.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the worst part was I was good at math. So they were like, you fucking moron. And then, you know what's even crazier? From that point on, I worked so hard, and I mean so hard, and the teacher gave me a 49.
That's typical.
That's attendance.
Madame Clément.
That's
high
attendance.
school people.
Bitch.
Well, I'm surprised because you're so good producing and with stuff and organized. Like, I'm surprised.
I hated school.
I know that, but it seems like you'd be better at school than I was.
1 year
At
and
least
you,
I finished.
Yeah, I mean, listen.
49s. They just wanted me out of there.
so you didn't finish with passing grades.
I got expelled and went to adult high school, and half my credits were co-op. You had to go wash dishes to graduate high school. Whatever, it worked.
I
got my
went to
diploma.
I went to adult and got some more. So I'm like, I'm not that far off.
I have my
should
diploma.
finish it.
I went into the wrong exam once.
And how'd you do it?
How long did it take you? Did you write the whole thing?
I spent too long in there.
Well, you gotta stay for an hour,
One
right?
year, one semester, I took too many English courses.
Okay.
And I didn't realize that if you take 3 English courses, you're going to have like 14 books to read. You know what I mean? Like it's a lot of material.
Yeah.
So there were just books I didn't get to. So when they were asking questions about certain things, I was like,
Bullshit.
I just didn't. I didn't even know. I hadn't read it, so I didn't even know.
But would you make shit up? I'd make shit up on test.
No. I didn't actually. I realized it after staring at the wrong books for a while, and then I got out of there. I didn't actually write anything.
See, I literally missed
That would've
so
been
much.
crazy.
I missed
Better
so much
story.
that I couldn't even lie to the teacher. The teacher would be like, well, "You never got the book. I know this. You haven't been here for 2 weeks."
All
You know what I mean?
know
Like,
is a couple characters' names, and you have a fighting chance.
no.
I still have dreams now about not doing work.
Yeah,
And then
100%.
having to tell my dad
100%.
that I'm failing the course. Like those, and I wake up sweating, like they affect me as a grown ass man.
And the worst part is just the disappointment. It's not like they beat you or like never talk to you again.
No. It's,
Come on, you know what the most disappointing thing was? Going
No,
to
that's why I asked.
summer school in grade 9, like the 3rd day of math class. I'm done it's a 3rd straight day where I've dusted all the day's work in like 20 minutes, sitting beside these fucking morons. And I go up to the teacher and he's like, I don't have anything else to give you. And he goes, what are you doing here? And I went, I just skipped a lot. And he went, and I honestly, that was the most like, that to me was like, it was worse than my parents being angry. There was something about his just like, you're wasting my fucking time. You're obviously wasting your fucking time because this is like rudimentary shit you're doing here. Like, I'm going to give you a passing grade just for showing up. But like, I ended up getting an A. That was my final.
humble brag.
No, it's like
Well, no,
Will
but
Hunting
no,
moment.
but Simon, that's what I'm saying is like, this was so dumb.
I got
that,
an
like,
A in summer school.
Yeah.
Fuck
Yeah. Fuck. Yeah.
Where's NASA?
Yeah, you know, and I was so.
Where's
But I want to
JPL, where you at?
I
Yeah.
want to say to you right there,
Yeah,
you telling that story,
yeah.
you transported me. I thought was funny. For the fucking record, I laughed at something you did.
At my pain, yes.
Yes, your pain is funny.
That's what fucking comedy is.
Jesus
I
Christ, what are we
understand
doing
this,
here?
yes.
Sorry, I didn't mean to take the Lord's name in vain. They mentioned Tony. I think it's the first time. Maybe
He's gotten a
mentioned,
few shout outs. Come on.
but it's like everyone we've seen canceled has come out the other side.
But that's what I'm saying. See, the cancel thing, like, this is why I don't believe in cancel culture, because it does affect people. Like, we saw in this episode that obviously his psyche, and I get it. Like, imagine if, like, one of your, when you're young, like a hero of yours, 25 years later, talking shit about you on TV, and, like, you're like, I've never met this dude. That would be crushing to me. Like, imagine if tomorrow Michael Jordan was like, I think Matt Floyd's a piece of shit that plagiarized Joe Rogan. I'd be like, oh my God.
Michael Jordan knows who I am. I'd be stoked.
Okay, fine. But the point is, all of them, unless it's criminal, like Cosby, like I doubt anyone's going to that tour. There's no fucking way.
Well, yeah, I was watching.
I think
actually, I'll say it for the post, Joe.
I think you'd be surprised how many people still support Cosby, Matthew. I think he has a whole group that
Like Michael Jackson type shit. Yeah,
think
maybe.
that he's
weird?
being framed as a black, powerful American man, and it has nothing to do with. And I think those people will support him, and he will sell out shows. And
Yeah, you might unfortunately.
The
be
other
right, Simon.
thing is that I feel like Cosby was the beginning of cancel culture, or one of the moments where he was canceled by a black comic, Hannibal Buress. It's so. I mean, that wasn't his intention.
he was
He
outed.
just knew the
He
facts
was
and talked
outed.
about it.
He
Yeah, I
didn't
don't
go
think-
out there
cancel-
to cancel Bill Cosby. That's not what he was
So
doing.
had he known what happened, he would have not done it.
It's also
Had he known
Kamar.
that that's
It's also a
what the
little bit
result?
different when you're like, people low key know that this guy's been dosing and raping people for 30 years versus this guy tweeted something questionably racist like
Well-
15 years ago. I'm just saying there's a huge difference in my opinion.
This gets
Maybe
me to my next point. How Shane was like, so everyone knew what Louis was doing, but no one said anything.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden he gets out and everyone's like, da, 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 da. How many things are going on that everyone knows?
same
Or
with
is everything out?
dude Quentin Tarantino.
He raped someone?
No, when he came on, he
Oh,
was like,
the
he was
Harvey
like, if you were around Harvey, you knew.
But has all we've gone through eliminated? Has everything come to the surface? Or there's still crazy things going on that everyone knows but no one will say?
Yeah.
I wonder how many.
Epstein Island.
Don't forget too, Sacha Baron Cohen contacted the FBI about that piece he did, where he was like, he was in that Italian outfit and he called the sex workers and was like, we have a billionaire in town who wants some like underage.
Oh, he uncovered human trafficking.
Yeah, he was like, we need some underage kids, and they were like, yeah, no problem, we do that for powerful rich people all the time. And he was like, oh, okay, well we can't air this, and he turned it over to the FBI, and then the FBI did nothing with it.
He doesn't believe in the cabal. Are you going to load this, guys? It is the worst experience. You guys are lucky. You have wonderful partners now. But when you hook up with a girl and you have feelings for her, but it's your penis wanting to get off, and you
You act
feel
like I forget what that's like.
the despondent feeling. Like there's
you
sometimes
feel
where
terrible.
You have sex and then you're like, I'm happy to be here. Like let's do something. There's like.
You're like, I have to leave right this second.
Or I hope you just leave. It's the worst
His
feeling.
line was hilarious. I love you. Please leave.
It's the worst feeling, though. It really is. Like
Yeah.
That is a great title for like a movie or something.
I love you, please leave. Yeah.
That's fucking gold, Jerry. Name of a tour. I love you, please leave.
It's a good podcast name. Maybe I'll start that.
I
soon.
just like. Unfortunately, it also takes a lot of times of that happening to realize what's going on. But it was always like my body and my mind are letting me down.
So-
Like I should be happy, but I'm like, oh.
It was some of the best advice, though. Sorry, Simon, real quick. That if you're a young man out there, before you make any life-changing decision or go near a girl, just tug one out real quick. See how you feel about it afterwards.
I think anybody, any age.
But especially if you're young.
I think you make better decisions when you're not full of cum.
Saw
Period.
nut.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah. Always give it a good wank and just make sure you're of the right mind state before you do anything important in life.
So back to you saying, is everything a sham?
Yes.
Shane Gillis was like, yeah. So all these people were like, yeah, we gotta fire you, but it's total bullshit. Like it is a sham, like it's.
All these people got.
He says no one cares. The people who complain don't care. They just want to see action. Like the people who are offended don't care, and the people who fire him are like, yeah, so we gotta fire you. Isn't this ridiculous? People are over the top. Like everyone is just faking, basically, and then so it is all a sham, Simon.
Well, yeah. I mean, listen, the whole idea of like social media is all to just fake. It's all fake.
The
You have
weird
this
dance.
opportunity to like convince people of anything you want. You make yourself anything you want. It's a brave new world, man.
Just stay off of social media. That's my best.
I
piece
love
of
you,
advice.
now leave.
It's,
love you, please leave.
It's so common sense, but it doesn't. register at the time, like when you're starting comedy or whatever, like that resent thing. Like, I mean, I don't know if you've ever been in a certain environment where there's some sort of competitive nature, but there's no point to it because none of that energy makes you funnier, and it's just wasted. You just be funnier. I don't know when I take this attitude, but like there's some people in our comedy scene that I don't like, but I'm not mean to them. I'm not. I have my reasons, but I'm happy for everyone. Anyone doing it is doing it. You know what I mean? I can respect that.
It's not just in comedy. We're going to come back to that because I don't really believe that. But first, I'm going to demean myself in order to come back and demean you. I find myself all the time being jealous of people, and like I'm conscious that I'm doing it, and I hate myself for doing it. And it makes me feel even worse about myself. Yeah, but like I can't stop it.
That's an awful cycle.
Instagram is the worst for it.
Well, that's why I got off of Instagram because it was way too much, man. Like on every regard. And I was just like peripherals, you know what I mean? Like I didn't even have an avatar. I was just looking. Anyways, yeah, like I do it all the time. I hate it. I hate it. My life would be so much better if I could really like, and I'll tell people, oh, you can't do that. It'll drive you crazy. You can't do that. You'll be miserable. And then I do it. You know what I mean? Like I'm such a hypocrite.
Have you ever tried meditating?
I hate you. I hate you so much.
No. Wait for it. I have a friend, who's into meditation.
Yeah.
And
he's into some
the reason I
serious
tied
meditation.
it in is Shane Gillis was talking about his girlfriend broke up with him and he found peace on stage. So for me, like, whatever's happening, all of a sudden on stage, I cannot think about something that's bothering me or worry about something that may happen. Like, I have to be there in the present.
Yeah, but it's so
the only problem is that's 8 minutes a day.
And then you're done.
If you're lucky.
With meditation, you exist going through life, always wondering what happened, always worried about. If you can meditate for 20 minutes, you will get to a point where you're not there or in the future, you're in the moment. So you meditate, and through that process, you get out all your resentments. Then you don't have to deal with them anymore. That's how meditation works, but it's not easy.
Okay. I mean, listen, I'm not going to argue with you about whether meditation works or not, but that would not work for me.
No, I don't think you could do it, but that's how it works.
But you're meditate. That's how it works. What do you say? Like, there's no right and wrong way to make it work. It's people trying to reach enlightenment.
No. Well, no, that's next level shit. It's just about being in the absolute present, not thinking about 1 second ahead or 1 second behind. You can't even fathom it, but that's peace.
Okay. Yeah, sure. That's peace. Anyways, I do that all the time. Hate myself for it.
Wasted energy, brother.
You hate tons of comedians.
I hate tons of them, but I'm supportive of them.
No, you have a podcast where you fucking tear them down.
No, he's talking about local. He said local.
Oh, just
No,
local.
just
local.
support
Just in
local.
this
Yeah.
scene. Gotcha.
Yeah.
And it's all an act.
The bear said it.
They were talking about specials. I think a legit special should be one show. Like that should be industry standard, not 4 shows cut up. It's like that moment in time captured. That should be the gold standard for specials.
And if you fuck up, you just got to send that turd out to the universe.
That's how it goes.
No,
that's a real
crazy.
special.
I disagree because so many people in the audience ruin it. And that alone is why you can't do it. Just someone yell, "Oh yeah, Tom, I love you." Like you just can't have that.
Well, he's saying that has to be part of it. The organic, you respond to Tom's love,
No, I just think you.
Or he's Tom, I see. You respond to the whatever.
Yeah, no, I don't.
Yeah, no, I think they got it. Like, look, they worked so hard on this body of work. That would be like saying, look, I'm making a painting and I paint it and I have to put it out there. And that's just all there is to it. No, maybe I feel like I can do that painting better. And who are you to say?
Tony did a special that was just one shot. The craziest thing about stand-up is
No, we're not letting that go.
Tony's special one shot.
Yeah.
It was all one shot, so it wasn't edited.
I mean, that's cool.
I think that's more admirable and more respectable. Anything could happen, you put it out there. You could do the other specials, but to call
Simon,
it two
But
specials,
Simon,
you're a
he's
comedian.
entitled to his opinion.
Yeah.
It's wrong, but he's entitled
I just want
to
to
it.
change it.
I'm telling my opinion, not my facts.
You're a comedian, okay, Kamar, and you're working for a whole year, maybe 2 years on a comedy special.
I am a comedian.
And you're working for 2 years on a comedy special. You do one crappy set. You think that's it? That's all that material is now.
Yeah, so Kumar, let's
annals,
say you
history,
absolutely
like,
bomb.
Yeah.
Because you're too nervous. You have to put that
Like,
out.
come on,
Well,
man. Come on.
People
Kamar.
argue the best comedy special, one of the best comedy specials ever, is Andrew Dice Clay's 2-hour bomb.
The only people that argue that
Joe,
are Joe.
and that other
I've never
guy.
heard.
Oh, Adam
I've-
Curry. Adam Curry was the other guy who argued that point.
Okay.
So
I've never heard another person on earth.
I am dying here. Do you know who produced it?
Yeah, Rick Rubin.
He was just on Mark Maron.
Yes, I know.
It was amazing.
He just,
Is he a
just
Trump
interviewed-
supporter,
he
Kumar?
just
Is that
interviewed-
true?
No,
He just
He's
interviewed
not.
Paul
Okay.
He
McCartney.
doesn't care about shit.
well, no, just because on
He's like the epitome of
Sunday
enlightenment.
He meditates all the
I
time.
know he
Sunday
does.
papers today, Mike Gibbons was telling a story about Rick Rubin, and Fitzgibbons interjected and said, "Oh yeah, he's a Trump supporter," and I didn't. You watch
I
Gibbons
mean, he might
like,
be. Who knows?
I love this guy, but now I found out he's a Trump supporter. He went through this like mental conundrum right there on there. It was
I
great.
wouldn't give a shit.
I'm going to put a pin
Kamar's
in that.
a Trump
We're
supporter.
going to talk more about the Rick Rubin. It was transcending. But I'll talk about the
I
post-show.
hate that word. Can we talk more about the word transcending and how much I hate
But-
it?
Well, I think he meant it was transcendent, but
But consider this with comedy, your first special is accumulation of every joke you've ever told, worked it out. Now after that, you're now this 2-year thing, 3-year thing is crazy to think of.
You think that's too long?
I think most people's first special is their best special.
okay. But are you telling me that you have a fully new set every year?
I'm saying this is impossible. I don't understand it. I don't have a new set every year.
Oh, so you're saying 3 years seems
What
too
do you
short?
consider set? 5 minutes? I can do 10 5-minute sets.
No,
Different material.
No, like a 25-minute set.
I could probably do 2 different jokes. But if I were to do a special, it'd be all those.
Yeah.
The best cutout, whatever, put it out there. And then moving forward, I could tell those jokes on the road or whatever. But to put something else out would have to be 100% brand new. And I've known your disappointment when you see someone
Oh,
do
I'm
the jokes
enraged.
over again.
I'm enraged by it.
It's like, I would say that's why a lot of comics don't want to put out a special, because now it's time to put the rubber to the road.
Well, they don't want to burn all that material.
Precisely.
Are you going to see Tom Segura?
No, but did you see how many fucking dates he has?
Yeah.
It was like 2 pages of Instagram.
Oh, I know.
And I bet he's making at least $50,000 a date. Like,
He's so popular, man.
Jesus.
Like my daughter likes him. Like
my buddy wants to try to
just
open for him when he comes here.
His name was mentioned on the WWE this week.
He's just great, man.
Pat McAfee was commentating, and I guess someone got slammed, and Pat McAfee was like, "He looks like Tom Segura trying to dunk out there."
What do you mean Pat McAfee was announcing for the WWE?
I mean, Pat McAfee occasionally announces for the WWE.
Really? Since
Yeah.
when?
He's sort of like another Tom Segura. He's done
Since
stand-up.
when?
He was worked for them for
He
a
does
while.
everything.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah, he's multifaceted.
Well, I knew that. I just didn't know the WWE was part of his facets.
So Joe goes to a bar with Shane,
Sounds like a joke.
and it's 20 people there. 45 minutes later, it's packed because someone said, "Oh my God, Joe Rogan's here." At this, Joe Rogan's here.
Yeah, what a
So
shit.
you have 45 minutes to feel like your life is normal. Joe, I don't know if you've noticed any of these guys like Nelk or whatever. They all go around with 4 guys who are just in the purview of the camera, like security
Yeah, of
everywhere.
course.
I think Joe has a SWAT team with him wherever he goes.
You think
he's
so?
Acting like
he's
he's
literally 5'3". Okay. No, wouldn't you if you were worth that much money and that popular? Like I'm certain Dave Chappelle has like 4 linebackers with him at all
Absolutely.
times.
Floyd has like 12. Like,
Oh, yeah.
and he's
Yeah,
the
no,
greatest
I
boxer
think
in the
we
world.
forget how huge Rogan is because
Or
Kumar, what did someone say the other
how
day?
many people who are that huge that I have 10 minutes to go into place? And he said, yeah, you just got to keep moving.
Someone was like, Floyd's security could be the starting lineup of any NFL team at any given
Probably,
time.
They are the starting lineup of an NFL team. But there's clubs in LA where everyone's famous.
Yeah.
You can't get in unless you're super rich. Then you act like you've been there. And that must be such a relieving experience for rich, famous people to like, I'm not the richest famous person. Not everyone's looking at me. I'm like, Drake's over there, Rihanna's over there.
Well, that's why Chappelle and Rogan together makes the most sense, because there was no one like for Chappelle for the longest time. I guess maybe Kevin Hart.
Like peers.
I just meant someone that was on that level. You know what I mean? That he could tour with, that like would draw the same crowd. Whereas Joe Rogan now is definitely there.
And it just totally makes sense why VIP sections emerged.
Yeah, of course. You don't want to be harassed. Like, listen, they should.
Well, it's not even harassment. The best is the girl cried to try to get Joe's attention, but
Yeah.
it's just people wanting to touch fame or be around it.
It's so weird, dude. It is so weird to think that I saw Rogan. Now, this isn't me humble bragging.
Yes,
at
it
all.
is.
No,
Yes,
it
it
is
is.
not. No, it is
It
not.
is.
No,
Buckle up, folks.
I'm telling you, it's not.
The
So
humble
it's
brag
not.
train is pulling into the station.
But when I saw Rogan at that stupid Elgin Street
Bronson Center.
Bronson Center, that place is such a fucking dive, man. It's such a dive.
I performed on
and
that
the
stage.
way this comedy thing ran was like it was happening at a community center.
Yeah.
And we're all there, and then he does like 4 hours. Like, it was crazy.
Well, he wasn't famous then.
And he wasn't famous. This is what I mean. And
No,
then
that was
here
like
we are
episode.
now.
That was like episode 264.
That's
or
your like
some
Jimi
shit.
Hendrix at Barrymore's.
Here we are
Story.
now.
Prince playing Oliver's.
It's a total humble brag.
It isn't a humble brag. It isn't. I don't care.
Actually, you know what? There's nothing humble about it. It just sounds like a brag now.
Oh my god.
I saw Joe Rogan before anyone knew who he was.
Oh, you're a dum dum.
But I remember you told me I freaked out because I was listening at that time, and you were not listening to podcasts.
Yeah, I
for
had,
the record,
dude. I wasn't. They talked about DMT and all this weird stuff. I had no idea what they were talking about.
What, we
Zero.
start,
Oh, when in live. Oh my god.
In the after questions, which were 2 hours,
You were at the ground
Come
floor.
on, we started this podcast-
Knowing what you know now with that experience, I mean,
It would have been the best experience of my life.
we started this in 2017. He started listening in like 2016.
child's play. Should the capture the flag story just be canceled?
The capture the flag story was.
Sheila Buff. We've talked about it so
Oh.
many times. It's sort of like
It's pretty funny though.
I think it's just lore, but I'd like. There's got to be something new that they did. Like people with cats. Or
I
whatever.
hope there's something in your notes. I do not remember what the situation was, but in one podcast this week, Joe said, I don't know if I've ever told this story before. And it was a story he's told a million times.
CTE.
A million
CTE.
times.
It's the hair plugs.
No, it wasn't that one.
No, I meant it's the hair plugs that has made him forget.
Oh, because he has the,
Yeah.
they went into his brain.
Yeah.
In this episode, they say like comic. If you put comic in your bio, you think you're comic. Joe says specifically, you are comic only if you get paid to be a comic. In this episode, I write down.
Okay.
And then exactly
In this
and then-
episode, I
and
wrote
then
it down.
exactly 5 hours of podcast later, he's like, as long as you get on stage and perform, you are a comedian.
You've got to weep more because he loses. But we'll get there. We'll get there. Just for the record, Joe said that you're a comic if you get paid. If people pay to see you.
One of the funniest moments in comedy involves Shane Gillis. And that is that Legion of Skanks where they slip the acid, they try and slip the acid to Ari, and instead Jay drinks it. It is so fucking gold, Jerry.
Yeah, he gets the perfect drunk. He's the perfect asshole.
Just to big up Shane Gillis a little bit.
It is insane to be doing comedy for 3 months and think you could do a 20-minute show. And show up there, and the guy went up to him and goes like, "Do you have any interests? You should do something else." You don't remember that story?
Yeah, I do. I do.
And he goes, "People don't like it when you crash their wedding." Almost like it was like a revelation. It's this intimate party where everyone knows each other.
And it's free booze that someone's paid for.
That's one thing aside. But even if it was a cheaper bar, you notice when there's someone like everyone goes to the church together. It's a very intimate setting.
Yeah, that was a thing. Like Wedding Crashers made that into a thing that isn't really a thing.
Yeah, I think people found out the hard way
Yeah.
that it's not so funny, and they don't take you in.
Imagine you crash some Russian wedding and you just never leave.
I think it really
Yeah,
fell apart
exactly.
for Shane in this podcast when they busted the whiskey and he started calling Joe Rogies.
Once they started getting really drunk, this became an unlistenable podcast almost.
And he was saying, I'm just going to drink this Bud Light and even keel, and he broke, and I think it sort of fell apart. That's when they literally repeated the conversation beginning, like, I thought I was going to come in here. It's like, well, I don't think it was a good time for you. It was like, it was verbatim. It was, Joe goes, George Carlin died in Las Vegas on the road. And they looked at him and was like, well, no,
He died. He died in an LA hospital.
And then Joe recalls in his head the information he knows, and he does an impression of Joey Diaz. Not realizing that Joey Diaz told him that. Because he was, he's saying, George Collins, died on the road, doing what he loved. Like, he didn't realize that Joey
Diaz had just implanted that in his head.
That false memory, and the only way he recalls it by doing the accent. I thought that was something
interesting.
Else. And
the best though was that Joe still got there. It was because Jamie's like, well, he played Vegas like 7 days before he died, and Joe's like, yeah,
close enough.
There it is,
Close enough,
So he pretty much died in Vegas
In
on
the
his
ballpark.
last show. Yeah.
Lock it up. Would you want to watch someone you love die?
No, what kind of weird ass bottom of the barrel question is that? No
They
one
had that conversation, but like, if you're passing away, do you want your family in the room with you? Like, you'd rather someone die in a car accident and you're like, oh God.
Here's a better question.
This is what they asked. Don't
Yeah.
put
Well,
it
here,
on me.
can I ask a better?
Shit.
Can I ask what I think is a better question?
Shit.
I find this to be an interesting one. If you can die at home, do you want to?
Like, why would you go to hospital to die?
Well, no, because my grandfather died at home, and my mom's best friend recently passed away, and he also died at home. And I had the conversation with Mary, and I was like, I wouldn't do it because you have to go on living here. Like, I die in this room, in this bed, whatever. Maybe they get another bed of ergonomics. But you know what I mean? Like, I die there. You then, for the next however long, have to be in this room.
I definitely think they're switching beds just by
Well,
the
of
way.
course, yeah, obviously. No, it's the exact bed I died in. No, but you know what I mean? Like,
After what we learned about COVID, no, I'd rather be at home.
I mean, of course, you'd rather be at home.
I think you'd rather
Treatment of
be at
people
home
in
no
homes.
matter what. If you can have that fucking machine that gives you the morphine.
Bye.
Listen, I agree. I'm just saying it's one of those kind of selfish, final decisions, in my opinion. I'm still going to do it if I
shouldn't
can.
you be able to be selfish at the end? Like, you're the one leaving. Everybody else, I don't know. I think you should be able to do what you want.
Yeah, I agree. Again, it's just, you're affecting your significant other. That's all I'm thinking about.
I think my significant other would want me to be the most comfortable possible.
That's probably
the same
true,
way
too.
I would want them. No, I would definitely want them to be home. You don't want to have to go to the hospital to visit. You're like, no.
So
home.
after taking out
That's
my
a good
head,
point.
home.
If it switched around, yeah, I'd
100% home.
So after biting my head off, you would want to be there.
I didn't bite your head off. Matt bit your head off.
I don't know. Maybe it was the bear.
I don't think I bit anyone's head off.
Anyways, I don't think I want to. I don't know. I want to say I could do it to be strong, that's strong, but I'm a bit of a waterworks guy, so I wouldn't want to bum other people out.
I mean, yeah, if two lions came into the room to save another lion, it'd be fucking game over.
Stop. To me, it's real.
I wonder what happens.
Nothing from this guy. He's like fucking ice running through his goddamn
Hey,
veins.
when you die?
He doesn't think you're funny.
No, yeah. What happens when you die? Well, the DMT kicks in, and you probably see whatever Kumar saw.
The jokers tell you fucking stop taking yourself so seriously. At this point, Shane, and it felt very canned, offered his trip story, hoping that Joe was going to be like,
Hook, line, and sinker.
I don't know, impressed or like fascinated, and it really fell flat.
I don't think I remember that part.
He talked about he did Molly, he was at a
Oh yeah,
bachelor party.
and Jamie was like, "That's a terrible idea." Jamie was like, "I feel like that was kind of the precursor."
That's a bit much. And he said he was blind, and then he followed that up with his he had a night terror, but just seemed like he before the show thought, I got these stories.
But I mean, Kumar, we've talked about it before. How this is kind of the new Tonight Show.
Yeah, but
You remember how on the Tonight Show it was always you had to come prepped with like,
Well,
you got a good story, Bill, like anything good this week happened that you can.
it's in the realm of Comics Unleashed. That's what I'm saying.
Comics Unleashed. What was that?
You know, we've talked about before with Byron Allen and be like, oh, don't you get a new slow blower
Oh, yeah,
in the
yeah, yeah.
January? And then you go right in a bit, and then he goes to the next person.
Yeah.
And we know that doesn't work. So points against Shane for bringing his can story. Could have come up organically. Then they just went off on Fight Talk. And Joe disagrees with, I don't remember my position, but most everyone who says Connor's wash, it's over for Connor. Like,
What I said was that Connor, I don't believe Connor will, well, no, that's probably not true. I said the opposite of that too. I don't necessarily think he'll fight for the belt again, but he's a very viable, like, it's weird that people are like, he's ranked number 5, he's done. There's guys in other divisions that are number 5 that you still love to see fight. People still love to see Donald Cerrone fight.
and it's not about who's the best. It's just about
No, some people you just like to see them in the ring. Yeah, like
because them talking about like he was just sucking Connor's and Diaz's dick.
I absolutely love that fucking
Funny
line
clips.
though when he's like, what does he say? 3 men died making this watch. That's fucking hilarious.
So he's just got to step up his shit talk and Connor could be back. Because I remember when
They're right about Nate Diaz too.
he's the best.
He's fucking hilarious.
No one knows what a gazelle is. He
Bro, this is America.
misremembered
No
the
one
line.
knows what a gazelle
Yeah,
is.
that was hilarious. I remember when Connor threw a Red Bull at him or something at a press conference.
Water bottles and yeah.
He was nobody then.
Who? Nate?
Connor made his name, and from that moment, Nate was probably bigger than Connor when Connor did that.
No, Connor had already knocked out Jose Aldo at that
Okay,
point.
I don't know what I'm talking about.
Wasn't
Anyways,
he the champ?
Yes. Once
Yeah.
he knocked out Jose Aldo, he was the biggest thing in the goddamn world. Even slightly before that, he was pretty big. But that was the moment, Kamar, in my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong.
It was when he got the tattoos
I'm a
on
casual.
his chest. That's when everything changed.
he's the most important thing in the UFC still, somehow,
I
some way.
disagree.
Because I'll say I've been watching social media because I'm on it. He's hanging out with everyone, having a good
Biebs.
time. The Bieber.
I saw it,
Well, and people are talking about him. No one's talking about Justin Poirier. It's not like, do you know what I mean?
That act will only...
He's the better person. Justin Poirier was a better man, looked better, did everything better. But it seems like Connor came out on top losing.
But let's
somehow.
also say this. Maybe Dustin Poirier is the kind of guy who isn't all about posting photos of him. Like maybe he is rubbing shoulders with those guys. Maybe he's just not posting it.
Do you see Jake Paul made $100,000 chain
Of Connor.
of
asleep.
Connor knocked out?
Yeah.
Sent it to Poirier and said donate to a charity or whatever you want.
Even better, did you see all the memes of Joe interviewing like
The World Trade Center.
the World Trade
Or
Center?
or the Monk on
The
Fire.
Monk on Fire was hilarious. Who else did they have him interviewing?
I'm glad they addressed that in this.
You
'cause
understood those memes, Maddie?
Okay, come on. Now it's going to be me and you, V. Simon, bum
No,
shoulder
no,
or not.
no,
Yeah,
no,
no,
no.
we're about to put the fucking
I can't go back
slap
to jail.
down.
I can't go back to jail. But yeah, I like that they were talking about Connor and their perspective. And I thought Joe made a real case because everyone I've talked to said Connor's washed, Connor's done, and he has
I just think
no
that
attention.
if you lose that many fights in a row, like, what's the conversation anymore? You're not relevant.
But if you say outlandish things that are entertaining, you make
You are
yourself.
not.
Hold on,
you
hold
are
on.
not relevant.
Simon.
If you lose,
Stop. This is where I disagree, though. Like, if you still go in there and have barn burner fights, people still want to see you fight, win or lose. Like, if you go in and every time it's a fucking serious... Like, think about Max Holloway, the way he fights. Would you care if Max lost his next 5 fights if he went in and did what he does? And just, like, bang? You know what I mean?
I mean, listen. Yeah. Okay. Sure. Fine. So then, he's not. It's still fine to watch. He's not relevant in the conversation of like belts anymore.
Well, no,
you know?
but we said fighting's not all about who's the best. And that's all belts mean.
I mean, keep in mind, too, Simon, there's also the Jorge Masvidal argument, who, like...
He has no belt, right?
No, he fought for the belt once on short notice and then fought for the belt and got absolutely starched. But like he wasn't even he was like, I'll fight for this bad motherfucker belt against Nate Diaz for the money. Like some guys are,
As repulsive it is, it's a skill. What Connor does, what Jake Paul does, what Floyd does. Like it seems so blatant and obvious, but other guys do it and it doesn't work. So
the problem is this though, after you lose 6 straight fights, the shit talk has a lot less polish to it, a lot less vigor.
well, it's even worse if you talk shit before your first fight and then get knocked out like that Bryce Hall kid. Do you see what
Yeah.
happened to him?
Yeah, of course. But I'm just saying, Kamar, like think about Conor McGregor is that shit talk worked when he was starching people. 13 seconds, first round, whatever that, when he's hitting that left hook, when you break your own ankle in the ring.
But this Bryce Hall
Oh, I saw.
said, I'm a fighter. I'm in a 40 sheet fight. I'm going to kick the shit out of this guy. Got his ass kicked and went, I never said I was a fighter. I don't know. Was it like Connor doesn't go, oh, I said he was calling him out with a broken ankle. You know, he was keeping the act going. And I think it's an act or people wouldn't want to hang around with him. And that's all I have for Shane Gillis. I thought it was just too little too late. I think he might have screwed up by telling Joe that he sort of expected to be on. Like he said,
You're never coming
it's
back.
weird flex. I don't know about that. They were having a good time. Rogies, a little too comfortable. I like Shane Gillis.
I like Shane Gillis. I never liked when they said Rogies, even back when he was doing his thing. So yeah, I'm with you on that one.
Brought to be cute. Rate it, boys.
Well, I gave the week a 4, so I mean, I guess I got to give it a 3.5.
This one gets a 3.5. Sorry, man.
Okay, yeah, no, 3. Fine, Simon. 3.5. Sure.
I'll give it 3.5.
No. I'm sorry. I thought you were done.
We have an agreement.
Hit the button.
And all the best to Shane in the future. 1886, the return of Ari Shaffir. Can I start off with this?
The prodigal son, yeah.
Sure.
Start off with whatever you want.
So often I'll find out who the guest is on YouTube with the clip. Mm-hmm. And the only clip of Ari is the ayahuasca experience
Yeah.
to the orbs. But that's where we're going to get to. And you don't know where that is in the podcast, right? It's just a 10-minute clip taken out. And I watched that and I said, my God, Ari has had a religious experience and has changed his ways of being an asshole.
Nope.
Because that moment, and I say asshole in the most...
Yeah, endearing way.
I love it. But Anthony Bourdain, how's he doing?
Yeah.
Like he was ruthless. He was completely ruthless, and I loved it. And I'm so glad he came back and is Ari.
This is what I want to know. And here's where I think Joe dropped the ball. How do you have Abby Martin on first thing in the week
Back to the Jews.
and then have Ari on and not ask him what he thinks about it?
Because he's not going to give you a real answer. He's probably going to say you should kill all the Palestinians.
No, I think it would have been anyways.
I don't think he would have that honest conversation.
I might lean with Kamar on this one.
I think he would have been the perfect person to ask. There's a guy who left the Jewish faith, who has zero allegiance to Israel. Obviously, he's a fucking anarchist.
I think his position is with Palestine. If you are to take a side.
So great. Let's hear the
Oh,
conversation.
I thought you wanted a counter argument.
No,
to
I
Abby
just
Martin.
think either way, he's a good argument to have.
Instead, in this situation,
He
you have to
also
hold the torch.
his father is a Holocaust survivor. I'm sure he could have a viewpoint of it from, like you said, trying to honor your father and not knowing where to land on it. Like, would have been very, very interesting.
They started talking about, and I thought it was interesting, to your ancient civilizations, is who knows how many pandemics have happened.
Right.
And there could have been a time when there's 1 million people in some sort of advanced civilization, but they all die. There's no medicine. They weren't able to save it in time. You know what I mean? And all evidence of that doesn't exist because everyone dies, and it's not like whatever killed them is just lingering around.
Exactly.
And so,
My only argument is that I feel like innovation lies somewhat in the amount of people we have.
okay.
As in, because there's only 1 million people. Like, think about it like this: if you took 1 million people right now, your average swath of 1 million people, they're not all going to be super innovative people. They're not all going to be hard workers. You're not. So once you get to like 1 billion people, you really start, and that's why we've seen this exponential growth of technology. In my opinion, there's just more of us. So it's tough for me to believe that there was some super advanced.
It's just the law of averages. The more monkeys you have working on a solution,
Precisely,
the more
yeah.
answers you're going to get to your problem.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that's a very kind of like numbers way of looking at it for sure.
I tend to go that way. Yeah.
You're not taking into account any kind of other outside forces that may be acting on
Yeah, aliens. We get it, Simon.
not aliens,
but aliens.
just anything, man. Like,
do you think, though,
but yeah,
Matt, if some full extinction event happened,
Yeah.
whether it's self-imposed or
Sure.
the meteor,
Sure.
no life on the planet. A million years, would there be life again?
Maybe, but again, we have like there's
That's all you need is the maybe.
well, no, but hold on, but because just my issue is that with dinosaurs who are around like that far back, we have evidence of them.
Well, but it's even crazy. Yeah, we talked about it last week, didn't we? It's almost time the dinosaurs were around way longer than we've ever been around,
Of course.
Yeah.
and there was way longer between that.
There is more distance in time between the Tyrannosaurus Rex and the Stegosaurus than there is between us and the Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Yes.
That's how long the Cretaceous and the Mesozoic and all those eras were, millions of years.
So that sort of seems like it's a little far-fetched to find dinosaur bones.
Oh, you think it's a
so
plant?
But you know what I mean? Like, really?
I think dinosaur bones are one of those, like, you know how a fossil is made.
Yes, it's calcium.
It's
not
one
an
of
actual
those
bone.
like happy coincidences, you know what I mean? And that's why you end up finding fossils, is this like the heat of this and the happen to happen where, you know, I'm not a scientist. I don't know the exact science behind it.
Kamar, you know that, right? Fossils they're not
They're not
bones.
actually the
No,
bones.
it's not the bone.
Yeah, okay. So he knows.
But all I'm saying though, Kay, is that's the reason why you find that and you don't find like
When we go to the
dishes
museum,
and stuff from
when
that.
we go to
long
the
ago.
museum
Yeah.
of nature, that's on Elgin, right?
Yeah.
There's a dinosaur. Those are fossils.
Yes.
Those are
There's
fossils.
a dinosaur in there. That's a fossil, or is that wood?
No, those are
recreated.
Those are
fossils.
fossils, yeah.
So there are no bones.
No.
I mean, if they did find bones, they'd have to be like frozen in ice or something.
It was just. I feel like you're saying
you're asking the
Well,
dumbest.
that would work.
I feel like you're saying there's no way there could be an advanced civilization because we find something of theirs of dinosaurs.
No,
but
no,
it's too much time.
People, first of all, two things. There can be extinction events where all life on the planet is eradicated, or there can be like, you know, events that crush out 90% of the population and you're left with small pockets that then go on and they retain some knowledge from the ancient civilization that was left.
But
they
that's-
pass that on and it takes generations and generations.
That's
and-
different from my question. My question is 100% elimination. Does it reboot itself again, and then a million years later,
You're asking-
they're building cars for the first time?
You're asking if
Maybe.
evolution happens again if all life is removed from Earth. And the answer is probably yes. The conditions remain the same for it to
We
have
should try
happened
that
the first
experiment.
time.
That'd be so
But yes
cool.
and no,
That'd
because
be so cool.
dinosaurs were around as long as they were, and they didn't get shit done. They didn't build a goddamn thing.
Maybe they're about to make a comeback.
So what I'm saying is like they evolved into that, and then after that extinction level event, we evolved. So there could be an extinction level event where some life comes back, but we're not necessarily building the car. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, maybe a million years down the road.
Well,
but maybe not is what I'm saying. Maybe 10 million down the year.
I'm not gonna be
and
there.
to play Diablo Avocado, like there could have been man that lived, you know, millions of years, starting from a fish and getting to cities, mass extinction event. The next one only got to the dinosaurs. Mass extinction event.
Yeah, that's
right?
possible
Like,
too, sure.
Who knows what was happening? First of all, the Earth is so old. It's so old. I know it's young in comparison to some other things in the universe, but in comparison to us and man, like, you know, you've seen the fucking chart where it's a line that represents time, and we're
At the end of it.
you can't even see us
yes, I know all this. I
and
know all
everything else.
This. It's just,
you know,
it's with the COVID and thinking that could be elimination, extinction event.
Well, Simon, think about this too.
It's happened 100 times.
I'll one up you. Let's go back maybe a couple billion years. Maybe the sun, because we know the sun is like slowly dying out, right? So maybe the sun a couple billion years was much warmer, radiated heat better. Maybe Mars was terraformed, and maybe that's where the original civilization was. And as the sun burnt out, the civilization died off. They had to send over. Maybe that was the extinction level event.
maybe
We're still the aliens.
crashing their ship
Was the
is what
extinction
killed
level
the
event. That's what I'm
dinosaurs.
saying, yeah.
There's that theory out there for sure.
Well, how do you like them apples?
Yeah.
That's
Mocha.
why we can't go to the Antarctic.
because that's where the UFO is buried
Yeah.
under the ice.
I'm Pepe
And
Sylviaing this
dude,
all together
that would
for you
make
here.
sense because that's why it would be buried underneath the ice because it went through an extinction event, an ice age event.
Yeah, and it was the epicenter, so it froze first.
Dude, I really like that. I really like that a lot.
I had a feeling you'd get on
down,
board here.
right
And
down.
if you want to get Kamar on board, just somehow incorporate Dome into this whole thing, and you
Like
have
condom.
a new fan. Like condom?
Yeah, like he wants to get his.
Well, first of all, I don't think you use condoms.
Only with sailors. Do you guys remember when your friend got a brand new television? Simon just dropped the mic. Look at him. Look at him. That was a great bird. High five, Simon. You are hilarious. You're dying. Simon is so
High
proud
five.
of himself. Oh my
High five,
God.
Simon.
Simon,
You are hilarious.
Simon, stop patting yourself on the back. You're gonna hurt yourself.
Oh my God. I haven't even said a goddamn thing.
Oh, your face said it all, brother.
I am going to
my
attack
God.
you. Matt, did my face say anything?
I couldn't look at your face. I was
He
fucking
pushed
dying.
the microwave. He's like, at any time. That can happen at any time.
Oh my god!
Watch yourself.
It would be sweet if this thing had an eject button.
So there you go,
For
Simon.
me,
You asked me at the beginning of the show if I thought you were funny. No, I have a tear coming down my face. So
I was being rhetorical. I know you think I'm funny, man.
Yeah, but
I don't think Kamar thinks I'm funny.
Let's be honest.
either.
That was a muse.
Oh, for sure, man. I owe that all to the aliens.
Do you remember when your buddy's like, "Come over and see my brand new big screen TV," but it was fatback?
And then he
Yeah.
showed you his dick.
It took. Oh, he's trying to go. He's on fire.
this
He's
guy,
the NBA
what
jam
is
of
going
those.
on right now?
Thank you. Good night.
Simon walks out.
I give Ari Shaffir 4. Kiss my ass. Fatback TVs, and it would take like 6 guys to move it. You know what I
You
mean?
need a moving company.
Do you think burglars in prison are like, God damn, motherfucker? Because they used to have to seal those TVs.
You just did a black impression
Yeah,
of somebody
why?
in prison.
That was Moroccan, who's wrongly accused.
Who was wrongly accused?
Because I just think
He's like, motherfucker, I didn't steal the TV, but if I did, it would be way easier nowadays. I
way
would have gotten away
easier.
with it.
I would have got
if
10
the
of them.
glove don't fit, you can't acquit.
But look at my phone,
Yeah.
I'm looking.
and then look at a radio, and just like, this is so much smaller, and that is so useless.
Remember when people used to walk around with ghetto blasters?
Yeah.
I mean, that was kind of cool.
It was super cool, man. I always wanted to get a blaster.
Yeah.
But they started getting lame. They started turning black and have
Yeah.
weird, like, they want to look like spaceships.
They started turning black.
Just the,
What
just
was
design.
what was the tweet I
My
saw?
point being, though, is all those TVs, all fatback computer monitors, just
Yeah.
the amount of waste
They're all in
that
Nigeria.
we've done by now. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
But they didn't have the technology to have, like, they weren't doing that because they, you know what I
Well,
mean?
we don't have to worry about that much waste now. I mean, the military's taking care of the planet, but just listening to them talk about it just blew my mind how much we've already produced and thrown out, and here we are still going. You know what I mean?
I don't
Simon,
want
you know what's
skip
crazy to
ba-
think about? You bought me a TV because you were done playing on my fatback TV. That's how long we've known each other.
Yeah. That's weird, eh? And I was coming from the casino. That's why I did it, because I had just won money, and I pulled into the Best Buy there right on St.
That's a
Joseph
baller
Boulevard.
fucking move.
It was just like,
He showed up
boom.
with like a 28-inch flat screen, like HD monitor, and was like, "Move that piece of shit! I'm gonna kick the shit out of you in NHL."
The fatback
I
was
think my
ridiculous.
words were, Maddie, welcome to the 21st century.
The fatback is ridiculous.
They were so big and so obscene.
There's something you wanted to go back to, Simon? We skipped
Oh, yeah.
over.
Abby Martin. No, not about Jews, though, because this
No,
is the part that
it's the raccoon.
Kamar mentioned, and I think we skipped over. We can pollute. We cannot. We can do everything. The carbon credits, all of that stuff. And the military,
Is gonna fuck us either way.
and
That's
nobody talks about
That's
it.
the only point I made in the Abby Martin podcast.
I was feeling attacked. I felt a lot of anti-Semitism. Okay.
I knew he'd be
I
sensitive.
said, can we have a world without military?
I
'Cause
knew.
they're the major polluters. If we can't get rid of them, we're fucked. And everyone does their own thing, but no one. Oh my god!
I knew
Why
he'd
are
be
you-
sensitive about it.
Podcast,
I
why
knew.
are you-
non-sequitur
I knew.
for something you already
I
talked
knew
about.
he'd be sensitive about it. I knew he'd be sitting over there, rubbing his star
Simon.
of David, holding it out.
Why are you angry? I'm now giving you a chance to.
Because we're on Ari Shaffir and like you're fucking with my shit.
I'm sorry.
How about this?
I'm
I
sorry,
think what we're
I'm
both
sorry.
angry about
I'll
is
talk
that
about it
you
in the
won't.
post, Joe.
That's what it's there for.
Yeah,
Why
I
won't you
should talk
split the
about it in
gold
the
with
post,
us,
Joe.
Simon?
The gold, the Jew gold. Because it's not your gold, man. You get the fucking leprechaun gold, and you get the pizza gold, but you can't have all the fucking gold, Matt. Okay, I know as a white man, you feel entitled to all the gold, but you don't get all the gold.
This guy's on fire.
You can't have all the gold. And Kamar, you can't have any gold.
Don't want it. I wouldn't feel good about it.
You have to mine it.
Yeah, Moroccans don't get no gold.
It's blood gold, anyways.
Yeah, yours.
So we found out Joe weighs 90 kilograms.
Yeah, 200 pounds.
I weigh 94 kilograms.
Oh, well, you're fucking way better than Joe Rogan.
Hold on, Kamar. You're also, how tall are you? 5'9"?
5'3".
5'3".
Let's see your muscle.
I don't have any.
Let's see it.
Why don't you get on camera?
Coming at you.
Why don't you get on camera, Simon? Jump in.
You wouldn't think that.
First of all,
you wouldn't think I have a big muscle.
hey,
You just had a tennis ball
dickhead. We're on the same team. I was backing you up on Reddit. This guy's over here. Show me your muscles. Show me your muscles.
Here's the other
Why
one
don't you
for you,
come
too.
over here and suck my fucking dick, Simon?
Show us your dick, Matt.
We'll save that for the post, Joe, as
have
well.
a bottle stuck around it right now.
They were like, metric is stupid. Metric is right. We've said that before. We'll say it again, right?
Metric is stupid. Metric is right.
No, he said Joe was saying metric is so stupid.
What do we use?
Metric.
Oh yeah.
Well, we'll get, moving on.
Listen, when you're in the States and you go, what's everyone other than Bolivia using? And they go, metric. And you go, but what's Bolivia using? Empirical. Let's stick with that. Like, I just don't understand. Like, it doesn't make any fucking sense. Like, how far is a mile? Oh, it's 1,286.4 feet. Why?
Dad, why is it so weird? Just look at Bolivia, son.
Yeah. Have you ever been to Bolivia? No, of course not. I just don't get, like, it came along.
I don't, but I do. It's
No,
just
there
ingrained.
must be some underlying reason.
I know what it is. And as someone who lived in the States,
Yeah, that's the worst brag.
I could Fahrenheit I can't do it. Like I had to I
80, 70.
no
Does
I
it work for
no
you?
idea. No fucking and I get it for them too. They're like when Joe was like, "What's 23? I should be dying."
What do
I mean, like,
what do Mexicans use?
I believe
racist.
Mexico's on the metric system.
So it literally is. Everybody, they're like Israel, just surrounded by their enemies, the metric system enemies.
I just said it everywhere in the world.
It's too ingrained in the culture, and it'd probably be too much of an overhaul. It costs billions of dollars to finally make the switch.
Here's the weird thing. I remember
That's my.
I remember when we started this podcast, an American asked me on like through email or something. They were like, "What do you guys use exactly?" The weird thing about Canada is, how tall are you, Simon?
Taller than you, Matt.
Well, that's not true either. But how tall are you, Simon?
You guys are equally petty.
In feet. feet. Yeah.
No, but you're going to tell me in feet, right?
Yeah.
How many
I'm
meters?
6 feet tall.
How many meters?
1.89 meters.
You know that for sure.
I just looked it up.
Oh, you okay? Fine.
No, I'm making it up. It just sounds confident.
But that's my point. Is like we use.
We should be using meters, is your point.
If I could
Well, there's a
pronounce
lot-
a word, I say it's a colloquialism.
There's a lot of things. There's a lot of American ones that we use. Like I know how many feet tall I am. I know how big a foot is.
You know how long you waited online.
Yes.
100 miles sounds better to say 100 miles an hour than 120 kilometers an hour. Because those are the
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And when you're giving an example of something exactly, you say 100 miles an hour. You don't say kilometers.
Precisely. Like
Or
it's-
how far is that? It's 20 miles away.
Yeah.
Even though we don't use miles.
We don't know what that
I don't know how far that is at all.
you say that.
I mean, again, I also know the conversion. So, like, again,
Humble brag.
Fahrenheit's the one I don't because it's a stupid conversion. It's like 37 times whatever divided by.
And what's
fucking-
weird is with mass, it intertwines because you have ounces, grams.
Oh, yeah, fluid
kilograms,
ounces. Yeah,
pounds.
yeah,
You
yeah.
You buy a pound off your drug
That's
dealer.
where things get real screwy.
Yeah, real dicey.
Just
yeah.
ask the fucking marijuana people.
But honestly, for Americans, it's super easy. Water freezes at 0.
Oh, yeah.
Water boils at 100. This all makes perfect sense.
Ounces? What's that metric or?
It can't be metric.
It must be no.
'cause an ounce is
it-
28 grams.
No, because Americans use an eighth when they're talking about
but it-
grams, right?
Well, no, because an eighth is still that's the same system.
It's just it's screwy.
They use pounds though. Although no, kilos, because a kilo weighs 1,000 grams. That's how the Ghostface song goes.
I'm so confused.
But before they get to the kilos,
We should all
that's
just
2.5 pounds.
we should
Yeah.
if there was a world government,
But hold on, grams. 'cause
we'd all agree on something.
it's like 456.2 grams. So grams might be empirical too. I'm not certain. No, because there's 1,000 grams in a kilogram.
All this to say, Ari told a story about buying drugs in South America. There's something wrong with him. Like he has CT. That's a really bad idea. Do you know what I mean?
To what?
That totally sounds like something you would do.
No, I would, when I do it, I get a hooker to get it or something. You know what I mean? Like you don't go
Oh,
to
you're
the
just some gringo going out there. Yeah, but he's dark.
I mean, I guess he has the homeless look.
Like if
Like
Simon,
if they knew who he was, he'd probably be like hanging from a bridge from a Sicario or something.
This is not a humble brag. Okay? This is just fact of the matter.
Okay.
When I was traveling
Yeah.
and I had dreads and shit, because I'm so dark skinned,
Hold on.
people just brought me.
yeah, but dreads are an international. I'm not a cop. I do drug symbol. So that's a total. You can't. That's
Fair
the,
enough.
The control
That
is gone on this
skews
experiment.
How
yeah.
dark I am.
But
yeah.
I was gonna say, if Simon spoke perfect Spanish, you could bring him to Mexico right now.
Oh, people thought I was Moroccan. That was what they thought I was.
Yeah.
One of your people, Kamar.
Welcome aboard, my Bedouin brother.
Yeah, I just couldn't.
Well,
I'm
we
white.
were nomadic people. Like as the Jews were being persecuted all through time and land.
You don't travel, so
we
don't do
were
this. Don't do this
walking
we thing.
through the desert.
Let my people go.
When Simon was in Egypt's land.
He gifted him the indigenous pouch.
Yeah.
Really a touching thing. Like
Indigenous
Ari's an
fanny
asshole but
pack.
thoughtful, and he gave him some Baraka.
So I
You
wasn't.
ever had that before?
Wasn't that the wood he was burning?
No, Baraka is like this. It's the best. Anyone international listeners, send me Baraka. I'll send you money.
I wasn't watching this episode. What did he give him? A fanny pack that was like beaded,
Yeah.
like a Indian, like a native
Something from Peru.
Canadian fanny pack, but it was from Peru.
Yeah. A Peruvian native Canadian
Handmade.
fanny pack.
What do you think? You think Joe's going to use that fanny
Oh,
pack?
yeah, for sure.
Without a doubt. He'll talk. It'll be a talking point.
If I gave you a fanny pack, Matt,
Yes.
would you wear it?
No.
I don't even need to ask Kamar.
Yes.
Kamar,
I was just going to say it's a hard yes from Kamar.
Kamar
Without a
is
doubt.
the Mikey of
He likes it.
pretty much anything.
No, it's more like if someone gives you a gift, you're supposed to have it and you're supposed to use it. I'm trying to think of it.
If I had something left over on my plate,
Yeah.
my mom and Kamar, those are the two people I could think about, like wanting it, demanding it.
Demanding it.
Your mom is about. Do you remember I bought that $20 turkey sandwich downtown Manhattan, and
Dude, this was the
Mom.
literally in my whole life. This was the craziest sandwich
it was
I've
enough sandwich for
ever
4
seen.
people. And she's like, "Can I have a little bit?" I'm like, "Sure." Look back, wrapper gone. Where's the sandwich? Oh,
Matt,
sorry.
I'm not even joking. Okay,
So it was $20.
wait,
and this must have been 20 years ago.
Listen. This is the story. Okay, we're leaving New York. Kamar has come down with me for the toy show. Massive snowstorm that year, Kamar.
Yes. Every time we
Every
went.
time
February.
we went, massive snowstorm. Same weekend every year, massive snowstorm. New York was so crazy. Times Square was up to our knees in snow. Nobody. Like the city shuts down. They've never seen snow before. You know that they don't even have snow plows there. They just put plows on the front of their garbage trucks.
Yeah, I lived there, remember?
It's ridiculous.
That's industrious.
Anyways. So we're trying to get out of town. We're trying to beat time. Kamar decides at this moment he's going to go buy a sandwich.
A real
so
New York
he
deli
runs
experience.
into Times Square, and
There's no one anywhere.
it took forever. I don't know why it took so long.
Treading through the snow.
Anyways, he comes back with a sandwich.
and having gotten his dick sucked.
3 peep shows later.
Yeah.
This sandwich, Maddie, long story short, bread, and a whole loaf of bread's worth of turkey. or pastrami or
Like
whatever
4
the fuck
pounds.
it was.
It was
But how do you bite into it?
You can't. You have to like make it into a million sandwiches. It doesn't even make sense.
Just start nibbling on a bit. His mother found a way to put it down in like 5 minutes.
It was.
That's what we gotta say.
It was Times Square, Matt. So it was like a joke sandwich that only the tourists
Yes,
buy.
it was
you
totally
know?
I
just
got-
like,
yeah.
wow.
You get it.
Everything's
you take
bigger
the
in New York.
picture and then you throw it immediately in the garbage. Luckily,
Or in
this
your
sandwich
mother.
was being shared by Kamar and my mom.
No, she ate the whole thing. I had a bit. That's hilarious. Shout out Simon's mom.
Oh my God, I just had this crazy memory of who ate was it the hot dog? Did you eat a hamburger that had been sitting out all night?
Yeah, I would definitely do something like that. I cannot deny that.
It's coming to me. It'll come to me.
Ari is like an elite partier. Would you guys agree?
Oh, he's the guy that never says no to drugs.
Like there's elite athletes. I think Ari is world class. Like he does not.
If you actually organize something called Shroom Fest and people recognize it, you have elevated yourself to like a certain drug status.
Well, what's cool about him is it isn't like Geraldo was a elite partier, but it was partying
Detrimental to his
with
health.
Coke and pills, or like there's guys who party hard, but it was very self-destructive. He's a hybrid that is productive and stuff. You know what I mean? Like I think that's what he should be.
Well, hold
known
on.
for.
Yes and no, though. Like, he's not productive if he fucks off for 5 months into the jungles of Peru, right?
Well,
I mean, listen,
back to you talking to me about material. He'll have.
I was going to say, okay, he'll come back with some material. I get it. But, you know, it's 5 months where he's only making residual off YouTube videos and this and that. Like, it's not, it's not 5 months of hard work. Like, hold on. You agreed, Kamar, that having a year off of the stage was not good for you, right? So
Yeah, but he's got a podcast, and if Tim Dillon is way richer than I think, Ari
probably has money,
and
yeah.
he's super frugal too. It's not like he doesn't own a car.
I'm going to have to respectfully disagree with you, Matt, because
About what? Which part?
everything you've said so far in this whole podcast. No, I'm
Back to the beginning. Now, Abby Martin.
Yeah, this fucking piece of
back
shit.
to aliens. No, these guys' job is to make great art. And if you need to like if you're Stephen King and you're writing a new novel and you need to disappear into New Hampshire for 4 months to do it, like, great. As long as you come back and you have like something to show for it, which for all we know, Ari may have a new hour just waiting on the back burner.
But the problem is like Kamar said, is it's great that you've written an hour or that you have an hour material, but if you haven't actively been doing it on stage, it's not quite, it's a lot of time to build it up still. That's all I'm saying. I get it. I understand what Kamar's saying. I'm not disagreeing. He is as productive as a partier as you can imagine.
The most. What I'm saying.
And I agreed.
Except
It's
for the
not,
Nelk boys, but we won't go there.
I agreed with you too. It's not detrimental to his health. Like he seems to have a good grip on.
Do you think this most recent ayahuasca trip has like changed his moral compass? And
No.
he's got no. Okay.
That's the one.
Did you listen to this podcast?
That's the one thing on this that didn't happen is they didn't even address Kobe. Because that's the last time we heard of him.
Yep.
Kobe, and then the pandemic happened, and
It's the stealing for me that always makes me wonder about Ari.
you mean dosing Bert?
No, I don't care about that. It's how he's always talking about how he steals from every job he works at. He has like this weird.
He has no.
Dude, he's a
moral
guy that
compass.
pulls his dick out
You
all
are
the time.
looking at me with such disdain.
Well, I'm trying to figure out what you're saying. He steals from his jobs. Okay.
I was asking Kamar if his moral compass had changed
When was the last
because of
time
this
he had a
ayahuasca
job?
trip.
I think I don't think he did a thing. I think he'd still steal from a job he got.
Comedy store, I guess.
How crazy is it? They're saying when the Beatles played Shea Stadium, the girls were screaming so loud they
That's
couldn't
insane.
hear the band. Like, technology had to step up its game because.
Imagine if that's why half of them were screaming because they couldn't hear the band.
I've always been fascinated by that. Like, it still happens today with your Justin Bieber or your BTS or whatever. There's something about girls
Not to that
and
level, though.
crushing.
I mean, again, though,
Well,
now.
the music systems are better. If they had the same music system, but you couldn't hear them.
But I'm saying now, like, now they're more accessible. You had to go see the Beatles back then to go
It
see
was
them.
just like, I can't believe this happened to me. I'm never going to watch this.
Exactly.
Panties
Yeah.
again or
Now
whatever,
it's,
yeah.
you know, like, oh, I watched them on
She
Instagram.
was 18.
What's crazy is when you like hear them talking about a song or somebody talking about a Beatles song and you're like, oh, that piece of fluff. And then they're telling you all these things like, oh, we tried this guitar riff, it changed everything. Nobody was doing that. Like they did so many crazy. I don't think the Beatles get a lot of respect that way.
And they were
Really?
only around. They were only around for 8 years.
For what, being experimental? They get tons of respect in that.
I think what I'm saying
So I would
is,
say the Beatles are underrated. Yeah.
okay, you guys are idiots. But what I'm trying
Of
to
course we
say is they get a lot of their songs, Here Comes the Sun, whatever. They're just like, people just think they're total fluff.
No, Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Heart Club Band is like one of the best albums ever.
I'm not debating that.
Oh, I don't think you are. I think you like them.
But what do you mean by you think it's fluff? Like,
I don't think it's fluff. I'm saying people think it's fluff.
fluff in what sense, though?
Just
like
that
it's
there's
pop
not a lot
or
of
it's-
substance to it.
I have to do this. I
They
want
were
to say
they
this
were
for the
filler
post show.
songs.
Rick Rubin was talking to Mark Maron because they'd both interviewed Paul McCartney,
Mm-hmm.
and he was saying when they did the Traveling Wilburys, it was Bob Dylan, Tom Petty, and George Harrison.
Roy Orbison.
No, but in this specific story, they were just sitting in the studio, whatever. George Harrison went out to the bathroom, whatever, and Bob Dylan leans in and goes like, he was in the Beatles. Like, even people like Bob Dylan are starstruck by the Beatles. So I don't think what you say is anything.
I don't.
I don't think you say is anything.
I don't think what you say is
take
anything.
that
Just a
as
second,
he's
just a second.
with me or against me?
Yeah.
Beatles are the biggest thing ever. I think. Maybe Drake.
I mean, I've never heard anyone say that any Beatles is fluff. So I'm other than you right
really?
here. Yeah.
Okay, I'm super surprised.
Well, no, maybe again, it's a
I
small
want to
sample
hold
size.
your hand. That seems like a fluffy song. Like,
Help. That's a really good song, though. Hard Day's Night. That
But again,
rocks
you
out.
never explained what you meant by fluff.
just like a fucking teeny bopperish song.
Yes, they were a boy band when I started.
But when you go back and you hear them talking about, or you hear Rick Rubin talking about the song, whatever, producing it, and it's not fluff. Everything they did had like
Yeah,
some
a lot of
intent
purpose.
to
Yeah,
it.
of course, yeah.
Well, they were just
They were
stealing
serious
from black
musicians.
artists, to be honest.
Oh man, Simon's fired up over there. You don't even have lights on you.
Do you guys remember when
No.
the
How
football
does it
games
feel?
are on or something, and you can hear the crowd? And there's a certain distance where it dissipates.
Yeah.
Do you like that sound? I like that sound.
Yeah, I never understood why
there's like a
people would
draw
complain.
to get to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I always hated when the people in the glebe complained.
And so they just make stuff close down early or whatever.
Yeah.
I love crowds cheering. And that's why these Olympics suck balls, man. How amazing would it be like in the time of the Colosseum? How electric the energy would be, you know what I mean? Or maybe some of those tribes in South America where they had crazy stadiums where they played the game with the human heads.
Well, I think it's way different when you're watching things that have that kind of dire consequences. You know, it changes the electricity to the stadium.
I'm sure it does. I've never been there, but I feel like you don't like the sounds of crowds.
I hate lots of people together in one place. So
And you kind of like it, but don't like being there.
I used to love it, but now I can't. Like, I'll have a panic attack if I'm high. If I'm high in a crowd, for sure, I will throw up at some point.
The roar of a crowd makes me hard.
Oh, I love that. Don't get me wrong.
And going back into a crowd now, I don't even know what that's going to be like. You know what I mean?
I doubt you'll do it. You'll just be in VIP.
It's true with the
Stay
rest
away
of the
from the
Jews.
This guy's on one today.
Wow. Wow. I knew this fucking podcast was going to be laden with
Anti-Semitic rhetoric.
anti-Semitic, but really kind of on the down low. You try and come in and, you know, not make it too
When your mother ate my
you
sandwich,
you wouldn't wear your swastika sweater today.
no.
But the sentiment would be there.
Yeah.
when your mother ate my
Yeah.
sandwich, I became part of the tribe. So I feel our persecution together.
Well, he's half Moroccan too, so you guys are joined at the hip.
That's actually pretty close, man.
Sandwiggers. You know how Ari was talking about.
It was a W, Matt. He said it with a W.
I heard. I didn't say anything. I laughed. I'm laughing. This is a laugh.
That's what you're joking today. You know how the Redskins have to change their name? They should just change to the Wedskins.
Well, I'm
And
sure.
Elmer Fudd would be the mascot.
Did you see that the Indians changed their name?
Well, he's going to talk about this.
I was in the post, Joe, but
okay, sorry. We'll go
bring
to
on
it
the
after.
Guardians.
No, I'm sorry.
But we better talk about it now.
No, we'll bring it up in the post.
So
Joe.
Ari was
you gotta
talking
pay
about-
for that shit, motherfuckers.
Ari was talking about how rage just changes. You know, like they were raging against music when we were kids, or they rage against this, or they rage against that.
Yep.
Where do you think, since the rage doesn't go away, it always has to happen, would be the best place for it to be directed? Corporations?
I don't
Because
know.
we know that's what they don't want.
The military, maybe?
The military pollution, yeah.
Or-
After this Abbey Martin, I agree with that.
I don't know, Kumar.
Hollywood? I think a lot of ire should be pointed at Hollywood,
Yeah, you've mentioned that before.
which is weird because it's all Jews. So,
Well, I
Yeah.
think they want
you
to
anti-Semite piece of shit.
what do you call it when you hate your own people?
I don't know.
There must be a term for that.
self-hate.
Self-racism or something.
Yeah.
Self-racism.
So there's no place to direct the rage, but it's going to be here forever. That's sad. If it comes out that this is all Fauci's fault, does it change the way you look at what the last 2 years have been like? And I'm not saying I know anything it is his fault or how it would tie into him.
If we find out that everything is Fauci's fault.
Like the whole pandemic is Fauci's fault? Is that
Yes.
what you're saying? And how exactly
I was
would
going to say,
he
how do you
be
pin
to
it on one
blame?
person?
Because they'd stopped, just like they blamed Trump on the pandemic because he closed down the Center for Disease Control. They're saying gain of function research was shut down, but in the messed up presidency of Donald Trump, it was so chaotic, he was able to start it back up. So it was an active thing he did. It wasn't him told to do it. And if it were to turn out...
I still find that that's a little bit of a stretch.
Of course, it's going to be a stretch, but if we're going to put the blame on something, if it could be 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon from Fauci, it's his fault.
Sure, but what do we do with that? You want to?
No. What do we do with anything? Just what do we do with
Whose administration
Well, no, but I'm
was
just-
Fauci in?
everyone? He's been there for 30 years.
But in this case, whose
Very true.
administration was he in?
Trump.
So then shouldn't the coach take the brunt?
I think he is.
Okay.
I
Well,
think
there
he
you go.
has been, and now it's switching to Fauci because like it's Biden's fault now, or whatever from that rationale.
I still stand by that's like being like 9/11 was Bush's fault. You know what I mean? Just because something happens,
no.
just because something happens
By
on
that,
your watch.
by that rationale, it is his fault.
I just
No,
don't find.
I'm just trying to fuck with him. I don't
Okay.
actually think it's
Just 'cause
Trump's
something
fault.
happens
That's
on your
crazy.
watch,
Of
yeah.
course, these are all policies that were coming from the previous administration, which is what Kamar's trying to drive at here.
No, I'm just Fauci. Like he started the level head, the voice of reason. But if it turns out he's just a fucking snake salesman, it'll be disappointing.
I mean,
He's not even selling their oil. He's just selling snakes. He's gonna get your boas here.
It's Analogy
Get your
Jones.
cobras.
the to me the most egregious part is the mask lie.
The back and forth.
Well, no, because
The flip-flop.
it's just so stupid to me. It's really like saying I think that the people are so goddamn dumb that if we come out and tell them, they'll absolutely do the opposite. And I just don't think that would have been the case.
I just.
I
Don't know
think
how-
if you had given them an option and said, look, this isn't great, but here's a way that you can make your own mask.
And I would say that seems like the maneuver of a head of the CDC or whatever he is for only 3 years, not too much experience. But the guy's been 30 years. That's just a stupid mistake. Like it's pretty fucking pathetic.
It's not only stupid. It's, to me, that part is like,
I just think when you hold public office and you lie publicly, you should lose your job.
that's right.
I'm not saying you shouldn't ever work again anywhere.
If you were to lose
I don't
his
care
job,
what
would you feel differently about the last 2 years? That's what I'm trying to say.
No, I wouldn't feel differently about it. But like at this point, that lie, I agree, has to cost him his position. It doesn't mean he gets blackballed for the rest of life, but
his resignation.
he has
Step
to
away.
resign after that, period. That's what I think. That's
Yeah,
my
I hold
stupid
everyone to the same
opinion.
standard. I said Kavanaugh shouldn't be a Supreme Court judge. This guy lied to everyone. He shouldn't be a fucking... That's it. You're out. You're done.
Okay.
You lose our trust. I'm sorry. Again, I'm just saying, Kamar, like, to blame someone means he would have to go to jail. I think it's way too far a stretch to send the guy to jail. If I'm being completely honest,
There's
if it turns out he lies to Congress, they could put him in jail because that is a felony.
well, that in
no, I
itself,
don't know if it's a
but even
felony,
then,
but-
even then, I'm saying, you know how many people have lied to Congress? Congress lies in Congress. What are we
Hillary
doing
should be
here?
in jail now. I'm
Yeah,
not gonna
probably
go there. I'm not
should.
going to go there.
Are you talking about the gender reveal party in your post, Joe?
No.
Did you see that those people, remember the ones who started the fire?
Yeah, they're getting charged.
20 years. They're getting manslaughter.
And then eventually they'll meet their kid.
That seems aggressive.
They come out of jail as their kid's 20.
Well, someone's got to make money for them.
We also forgot to talk last week about the guy that they want to give 30 years to, the guy that was on parole that voted.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. Hold on. We're going to come back to that in 1 second, Matty.
Okay, sure. But
These
it's on the
people are
same-
going to jail for 20 years for that. Fauci absolutely has to resign.
Yeah.
Okay, now to that guy. That is one of the
Heinous.
most heinous things I've ever heard. They talked about that in the
It was last week.
Abby Martin episode, no?
No, it was last week. We forgot to bring it up. It got lost in the mix. But I thought about it this week, and I was like, fuck,
So the guy comes out of jail,
doesn't know.
doesn't know the rule, goes to vote, and they're trying to give him jail time now because he voted.
Dude, void his vote.
Just void his
And
vote.
slap him on the wrist. Say, hey, buddy, you lost that right. To send the guy back to 30 years.
Matt, just
to make an
void
example.
his vote.
It's insane.
Just void his vote. That's what you want? You want the vote voided?
And if you're trying to argue that it's voter fraud, like, even if you could prove that he actively knew, you want to send the guy to jail for that amount of time? Give him probation for 6 months if you feel the need.
He didn't know.
I'm saying if you could prove beyond a reasonable doubt that he knew.
Well, then it's a different argument.
but
I
even
didn't
then,
even think about
even
that.
then, I
Like,
said, but Simon, even then, 6 months probation. You don't go to jail for that. That's it's insane. What are we up to here?
it's crazy. It's crazy.
Sorry, go ahead. Come on, you got notes there. I'm so sorry. I got worked up.
Yeah.
angry
Just
he is.
saying, the internet is funnier than any comedian. It's really a shame.
But the internet, like they said, is the unlimited monkeys.
It is. I just state agreement.
Oh, there are Reddit comments where I'm like, holy fuck, this person needs to be writing for some
Well, I mean,
highfalutin
look at
comedy
it
series.
this way, guys. You guys know how funny I am.
The
Like,
funniest.
there's a million of me out there.
Jews, yeah.
9 million.
9.
Israel. No, I don't. That's a population. I don't think that's broken down demographically.
Okay.
So Ari started talking about housewives that are prostitutes
Yeah.
on the come up. I once did a comedy show,
Yeah.
and these girls invited me back to this guy's house. This girl was seeing him.
Yeah.
She took me upstairs and sucked me off, like while he was downstairs.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, we gotta stop. It was like, whatever, exchange numbers. I'm thinking, right on, like being on stage has its perks. A week later, she messaged me going like, yeah, so if you want, you can fuck me for $300. Like, she sort of like,
That was the freebie, a little
Yeah,
bit.
the first
for
one's free.
she gave me a taste, and this, yeah, I do it for guys or whatever, but you're cute. Like, total that thing, like, I'll fuck you, but just give me some money.
It's a good thing to have in the bag.
I didn't have a good job at that time.
Well,
so.
that is actually a really good,
Side hustle.
kind of scam because I imagine that the hardest part is like,
Getting clientele.
If you're trying to go out and get hookers or whatever, I imagine the like lead up isn't nice. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. You got to risk
Convincing them you
gotta
don't have
risk
fucking
things.
HIV.
You got to go out there.
Oh,
they might
no.
be cops.
No,
you know
don't
what
do that
I mean?
anymore.
Like,
you can do it all on Craigslist or Kijiji.
Yeah, you'd be
all-
crazy to just be fucking trolling the
That,
streets.
Right.
that, that is
right,
a weird.
right.
You're either a murderer or you're looking to get your balls
that is
tied
the
up.
kink to have that stress and variables.
Yeah.
But
to
either
have
way,
a toothless crack whore. By the way, it was $20 20 years ago to get your dick sucked on Bell Street. Still $20 today.
No inflation in the dick suck
What's
game.
going
You gotta
on,
love
eh?
that.
you don't know that from experience, though.
They mentioned.
Wait, hold on.
For the record, if you're not from Ottawa, Bell Street is where the first murder of the year occurs.
This has to be
Almost every year.
This has to be related. If you do something that's not related, I'm going to lose my
It
shit.
is related. No, you made me forget.
See, it was
Kamari.
either
This is-
aliens or
No,
he was going
it
back
wa-
to Abby Martin.
It
there.
wasn't. It was something that had to do with that. And
Prostitution, $20 fucking
$20
crack hooker
Bell
blowjobs.
Street blowjob, Kamar.
All the
Simon.
boys used to get them.
All the boys
Go
used to
on.
get them. We used to line up.
No, just me.
Yeah, I've never paid for a blowjob. Well, I've never paid directly for a blowjob.
I remember it was like one guy like got his dick sucked and I was like, yeah, I gotta try it. Like it's $20, fucking crack or. And then someone actually went to fuck him, and I was like, whoa, you guys are taking this way too far. So they talk about paying for sex, and they actually mentioned the movie Pretty Woman.
Oh, here we go.
pretty.
JREE movie game. The time has come again. For Matt and Simon to rack their brains to guess the budget in the box office. We all know they won't guess the year, and the Patreons are the real winners here at the JREE movie game. Come on, take it away, baby.
Yes, I will, Tyler. It's the movie game where Matt and Simon go head to head to find out what year a movie came out, how much it cost to make, and how much it made at the box office. This week we're doing Pretty Woman, starring a new starlet, Juliet Roberts, and my lookalike, Richard Gere.
Is there a pen over there I can use?
Yeah.
Oh, you won't touch it. if I touch it.
All right, so it's Pretty Woman, huh? Okay.
Well, they mentioned the movie out loud,
Yeah.
and you guys have both seen it.
Do you have Ottawa in your notes there? Because they mentioned Ottawa.
No, I don't. No, they mentioned Toronto, I thought.
No, they mentioned Blues Fest because Ari was there when the stage came down. They
definitely
mentioned Ottawa.
And they actually
How are that
mentioned,
not in your
Ari
notes?
mentions it Ottawa a lot because him and Jay came here and they went and jumped off of the bridge.
Yeah. Which one? Eddie?
Elmer.
Okay. Oh, yeah. But
Wakefield.
yeah, the covered bridge, yeah.
Yep.
No, that's not in my notes.
a classic Ottawa maneuver.
That's not in my notes.
Well, they did. They talked about Ottawa. It's in my
That's
notes.
why you
You're
guys are here
bleeding
for
there,
support.
Kamar. You okay, pal? Got some fresh blood on you. Stay away from Simon for sure.
Hot stuff, hot stuff. Well, he's not worried about AIDS. He's just worried about COVID.
Okay, I'm ready with a year.
You don't know what he's worried about.
Directed by Gary Marshall, Penny Marshall's father.
You have a year already, Simon. Okay.
In this one, they say it's just starring Richard Gere and Julia Roberts. It's a story of a
Jason
rich man
Alexander is
picks
also
up
in
a
it.
street hooker and turns her into his lady.
Jason Alexander is the
whoa,
aggressive
whoa,
one.
whoa,
I'm not
whoa,
looking. You think I want to cheat at the fucking movie game when there's nothing?
That would get you canceled.
As it should.
Turner, you
As
cheated
it
the movie.
should.
We cannot have this anymore.
I have a year, Simon. 91.
I also said 1991.
Fuck boys, 1990.
Oh.
This was the moment we have
same
been
as-
waiting for.
The same as Total Recall. The same as the last movie we did.
Fuck. Now, the only thing I'll say
1990.
now is there's a shot just in LA.
This is shot just in LA. Yeah.
Not
Okay.
a lot of locations.
Are you giving us hints right now? What's happening here?
I'm just keeping the flow going. It's the movie game. Like, I actually, this is what I say. Not this week, but starting next week, I'm keeping score. You get 2 points if you get the date right, and 1 point for either the budget or the box office. And so we can accumulate and
Hold on,
have
it's
something.
2 points for the year?
Well, no one ever gets that, so it's got to be worth something.
Okay.
How do you guys feel about that?
I like it.
I think you should have a sliding scale for. Okay, maybe not. Fine, sorry.
I'm listening.
I just meant like if you're within 1 million of the budget of the box office, that also is 2 points. No, fine,
5
whatever,
million.
whatever you want to do, Kumar. It's your fucking world. I'm just living in it.
I thought you were living in Cyber's world.
Yeah, it would appear that way. I'm almost ready here. Give me a sec.
And holy fuck, Julia Roberts in the fuck me boots in this movie. Amazing, eh?
Yeah, I would have.
We were all too young to be like, what the fuck?
Simon, I'm prepared. I'm ready here.
Okay, I'm also ready.
Is Chico okay over there?
Yeah.
Okay.
What do you got?
You first.
You
I went
first.
first last time, dickhead.
Did you?
Yeah, I said 1991, and then you said 1991.
Okay, 15 million.
Yeah.
Wow, that made Kamar's eyes move.
What's wrong with this guy?
And in honor of the murder code, 187.
All right, we're not too far off. I had 22.4 million, and it made 210.1.
Budget 14 million.
Ooh, baby.
Oh my god.
Ooh, baby.
Box office 463 million.
See ya laser.
Wow. Boom. That's why Julie gets $20 million dollars
What
a movie.
a return. That's what a couple of fuck me boots and the chance of sleeping with a prostitute will do for you.
It's just
Dude,
the
that
perfect
return on
story.
investment is fucking obscene.
Bam. Oh,
Like
man.
that made her. She wasn't a big name on that. And Richard Gere's just along for the ride.
You know what's you know what is a great movie? Great movie. Still holds up. Primal Scream. Richard Gere,
No,
Edward
Primal Fear.
Primal Fear. Richard Gere, Edward Norton, serial killer, great twist. Everybody should watch it. I think we should do another movie game.
I haven't seen the movie.
I'll watch it.
Son of a bitch, really?
Yeah.
Oh, Maddie, you
I don't
have
remember
to
it.
watch
Is
that
it on
movie.
Netflix or something?
No, I don't know.
Sure, it's on something.
I have no idea.
I'll have to look it up. Oh.
That's the movie game. Americans try to fix things they don't understand.
That was pretty funny.
That was one of the three observations that the foreigners told Ari. And I think that's really spot on. And like,
Wearing shirts Banks gave you for free.
well, when times are tough, that does surprise me.
So let's Ottawa. They mentioned Ottawa. They were here when the stage collapsed. That was pretty crazy.
And they're the only ones. I'm sorry I dropped that. They're the only ones to say, "Hey, that sunset's fucking beautiful." Everyone else is really in the moment and takes it.
Yeah.
Good description of Americans. And sometimes you have to hear what other people think about you to have perspective.
I don't get that one.
What do you mean?
You see a nice sunset.
Yeah. So you're one of them, obviously.
You and me are watching the sunset.
Yeah. You have to say, you instinctually,
Your
like a
comment
knee-jerk
doesn't make it
reaction,
better.
you have to say, look at this sunset.
I mean, I would. Okay. Here's the situation. You and me were out at like a campfire.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm already aroused.
You're like you're getting dinner ready and I'm getting firewood and I notice a great sunset. I say, "Hey Maddie, check out this sunset."
Yeah.
That makes sense,
no,
right?
No, that's not what we're talking about.
No, that's
You
what I'm
and-
saying.
Not check
you
out
and
the
me are now-
sunset.
you and me are looking.
I've
at
already
concept.
checked. I'm checking.
You turn to me and go, "That's beautiful, eh?" Like it's the most
I mean, that was
Captain
super.
Obvious move.
That was super Canadian throwing the A on that, but we're with
That's
you.
how
Yeah.
I do it, man.
What do you mean? You
It's
could
redundant. Of
you
course
could
it's
think
beautiful.
it
It's
was
the
fucking
sunset.
wow. Okay. I mean, listen.
So wait, are you
I
asking?
don't,
Hold on.
I
You
don't
need the
judge,
validation.
man.
So,
I don't
Simon-
judge if you think sunsets are the worst things you've ever seen.
So Simon, when you're
Who's that
looking,
monster?
when you're looking up at a sunset and you say to the person beside you who's also looking at the beautiful sunset, when you say to them, "Beautiful sunset, isn't it?"
Yeah.
Are you just asking if they're colorblind? Is that really the question you're asking, but politely?
Let's play this out though.
no,
We'll do
that
this
is
better.
not what I'm doing at all. I think that's ridiculous.
So then it is a rhetorical question
stop.
because they can obviously see the beauty and majesty in front of
I
them.
wanna-
Maybe they don't think it's so beautiful. I don't
Exactly,
know.
exactly,
I don't know
exactly.
their
No,
life.
I want to role play. I want to role play this. Okay.
Don't touch
You-
me. Okay.
We're both watching the sunset.
Yeah.
You tell me how nice
Me and
it
you.
is.
Wow, Kamar, look at that sunset. Pretty nice, huh?
I've seen better. Like,
Yeah.
Is that interaction ever going to happen? No, all sunsets are beautiful. And
First of all, I think that if I was watching a sunset with you, you would argue it. You would be like, "Yeah, no, I've seen."
oh,
a nice one."
Actually,
I'd
hold
be the
on.
douche. I'd be the douche. who
That
says,
now seems
"Fucking
more like
nice
something you would
sunset."
do.
Okay, one of us would do that.
Sure. No, I actually don't even agree with that. No. If you and I were looking at a beautiful sunset, there's no way you'd be like, "I was actually in the Napa Valley once and the sunset there was much more beautiful."
I don't think it's so crazy for me to turn to you and be like, "That's an amazing sunset, dude." Or how about it even better? I'm so happy I get to share it with you. That sunset is amazing.
If you say that to me, you better have my fucking cock and balls in your hand because I don't know what kind of
See,
shit.
you're the problem.
Am I?
Yeah. You can't express like
can't have nice
emotion
things
to
'cause
your
of me?
friends.
We're looking at a beautiful sunset. It's already a rather gay scenario. It's just you and I.
Yep.
You said we're camping.
Yep.
And the two of us are now looking at a beautiful sunset.
Yep.
And you need to accentuate the scenario by basically hitting on me because that's a pickup line, right? Essentially.
If I like grabbed onto your thigh and said that, I could see you thinking there was a problem.
No, because let's say, okay, let's change the scenario here. So I'm a girl you're trying to fuck. I understand that line a lot more there. Spark up a conversation. Isn't that sunset beautiful? Don't you want to touch my penis? These things all fall into line.
You're jaded, dude. Jaded.
Yeah, he is.
You are
That's
jaded.
That's as obvious as
individual.
saying nice sunset. I'll give you. I'll give you a morbid perspective of it.
Sure.
Every day the sun sets. Every day you do not see it set. You might be doing something inside it. you only see so many sunsets in a lifetime. So every sunset and sunrise, I'd argue for that matter, you see the least of, are kind of special moments.
Yeah, totally.
So it should never be like, it's always nice.
You know what's a pretty fucked up thing to
It's
think
actually
about?
not a special moment. It happens pretty much at the same
It's a
time.
Like,
every
special
you
year.
are there to
moment
see
for
it and
you.
get it.
When you look at how many sunsets you have left,
No, I don't like doing that.
that is fucked up. It's not that many sunsets.
No.
I have
Like quantifiably, if you live to be 80 years old or 90 years old,
That's like 10,000
you-
sunsets if you
I
watched
don't
every
even
one
think
of them.
it's that many, is it?
Yeah.
unless I retire with money, I have less sunsets.
How
than
old
I've
is he?
seen.
He is 45.
Who is?
You. So he wants to live to
33.
what,
What are you
80?
talking about?
Okay, so if he's
I fuck all the young
45,
bitches.
that's 35 years. 30, well, let's say 365 days a year. So 10 years is 3,600 days.
I've seen
So
more
30
sunsets than I
years
will
is
see.
basically 10,000.
Okay, yeah, 10,000 sunsets.
I've seen more sunsets than I'll see unless I retire in a place that I can see sunset every day and make up for lost time. Because I've missed a lot of sunsets.
Anyways, back to the whole point was I don't think it's so crazy to talk about sunsets while you're watching.
We don't have an agreement.
I don't think he said it was crazy. He just pointed out that
Americans are the
people in
ones who do
other
that.
countries don't do it. He never said it's batshit crazy for you to say
Did not
this.
say
I
that.
don't believe that. I don't believe that everybody in every other country just stands silent while they watch.
Well, Ari
sunsets.
does, and we're sticking to it.
I
We
assume
move
that
on.
Australians get a beautiful sunset every day, and for them, they're just like, "Fuck, saying it, mate. Don't fucking care."
We finally find out why Ari got fired from Comedy Central.
Yes.
I think it was a watershed moment. And how dumb are those people? Like, it's just like we talk about TikTok or whatever. Play my shit.
Yeah.
Everyone play my shit. Like, more people.
Yeah. The more years, the better.
And their attitude was, well, no. If you go to Netflix, because he said, I'm going to Netflix. All those Netflix people are going to come back to Comedy Central to watch This Is Not Happening. And they go, no. Eyes on Netflix, eyes not on Comedy Central. And where's Comedy Central now? So there's got to be concrete proof that that kind of scarcity thinking is horrible and a recipe for disaster.
This Is Not Happening, that show,
yeah.
was so fucking good.
Dude,
Everything about it was
Vaughn's-
amazing.
Theo
the beginnings,
Vaughn's,
everything.
I don't think there's a bad one on it.
Theo Vaughn's is incredible.
I don't think there's a bad.
You're right. There isn't a bad
You
one.
could rate
Everybody's
them, but-
story is great.
And well done and performed. And Ari hit one out of the park. He pured it.
He pured it.
Oh, his little circles.
And then he'll turn around and go call Charlie Murphy a dead fuck. Just keeping with his insensitive
That was actually pretty funny.
theme. The funniest was when Joe's like Bourdain and Ari goes, how's he doing these days? And Joe for a second was like, you don't know he's
You know
dead?
he's dead, right?
No, I'm fucking with you.
No, I'm playing with you. I was playing along the whole time. Ari, what do you think I'm doing here?
So yeah,
You don't think Joe was playing along the whole time? You think he actually thought that Ari didn't know that he was dead? He 100% knew that.
I don't know. I'd have to go back and watch the tape.
Oh, no. He knew. What?
Ari knew?
No, he's saying Joe knew that Ari was joking the whole time.
I don't know. We'd have to go back
See?
and watch it.
Really, eh?
I think we'd have to go
think
back and watch
there's
the tape,
I think
yeah.
there's
I think Joe is genuinely like you kind of,
No.
you know he's dead,
Because
right?
he
Like
can believe he's just been buried in the fucking jungles, yada, yada, yada.
No fucking way.
like I said, gotta go back and watch the tape.
Guys, everyone on the Reddit, go back and watch the tape. Do
Yeah,
you think
please.
Did you think he got Joe or was Joe in on it?
Ooh, good poll.
And then basically, Ari goes into his ayahuasca experience. Now, did his experience first off make you guys? You would never do it ever.
I don't know that I would never do it.
Okay, no.
I just don't have like a.
I would do it. I would do it if some homeless guy was doing it in the backyard right now.
It's the puking that doesn't work for me.
But did you hear what he said?
I heard.
It was like the puke was the
Yeah, it's the releasing.
catalyst,
the catalyst.
To make it happen.
I that part of it, just like right away, I'm already like, this is going to be the worst time of my life. I don't know if I could get the right setting that way. I'm going into it already dreading it. You know?
Just the anxiety of knowing at some point I got to throw up. You used to drink a lot.
Oh yeah.
You know there's good pukes and bad pukes.
No, they're all bad.
You never had a puke where you're just like, "Ugh, I feel so much better. Start drinking again.
No.
Like there's pukes where you're like, help me, and there's pukes where you just like, you just need to. Anyways,
I'll be honest, Kamar.
I think it's a purge that feels amazing.
I almost never puked like night of. It was always next day. I never threw up drunk.
You've never pre-puked?
No.
In the middle of drinking puke?
No.
I definitely had a drinking
Oh,
problem.
one time we went to see How High, and I hammered back like a 2.6 of rum in the car on the way there. And by the time the opening credits were done, I threw up all over the theater floor.
I know a comedian that I don't like from our scene who's now in Toronto, but I'm supportive of him, who actually was on stage and puked in a pitcher of beer mid-scent and kept going.
Did you just shorten sentence to mid-cent?
Mid-set.
Oh,
That's what I
mid-set.
meant to say.
Thank you.
Right? And it was mid-sentence for that fact. So, well, maybe hit the punchline. And then he went into the moments of brilliance because he said two things happened.
Oh, wait a sec. Sorry, just before you move on,
course,
because I'm going to forget. I was really happy to hear that Joe is very scared every time he does DMT. Because the way everybody talks about it is just so flippantly, but like
Well, you're dying,
I'm
so-
super scared, so I'm glad to hear that other grown men are scared.
So you're going to do it, though. You just said it as if you're going to do it.
Well, I'm going to do it when I can do it at with
Not
with a
getting on
person.
an airplane to
Yeah.
go somewhere.
Gotcha. So we have to drive you to South America?
No, I think they're going to come here very shortly.
Okay.
I hope you guys do it sooner than later. So then he I think he gave an excellent description, the same as everyone else's description, basically how it works out. But then he had the orbs, that when you pure something, when you make something that is just undeniable, it goes into the ether, and that may be the muse, that energy field,
Maybe.
feed people. I wish Joe had
Maybe.
said, "Where do you think your Kobe tweet made it to?" They've just been like,
It went the other way.
If
It was an orb that went
well,
down.
Well, this is it. Light and darkness. If every time you do something really amazing, it goes up there and plays
It's
each
true.
other.
Unless things sink, you never know what it's like to float.
What happens when you lay a fucking egg? Like, does that keep the Earth's
Matt,
core
you
hot?
can write that down
You
in your little book if you want.
You had to hang your arms down. I'm not writing shit down.
If you don't sink, you never know what it's like to float.
He wants you to get that tattooed on himself or something. I don't understand.
I think we know someone will do that for free.
Yeah, add that into the triple bogey tat.
Done, and done. So yeah, I think with all the non-pure stuff, Ari goes. I wonder how he equated that. Just sort of seemed like my special. Everything I do is great. And
Well, I just feel like he's a comedian. He just looks at it like I'm trying to make jokes. I made someone laugh, and as long as I made someone laugh, then fuck it.
Have you ever made a ball?
I made it 2 balls last night for sure. It's so good to be back, and it's so good. Yeah, I have people like falling over. You know what I mean? And actually, the best was table came in late, like 6 people, like 10 minutes after the show started. I was like, what the fuck is wrong with you guys? And everyone's like, oh. Everyone had to cheer when I came up on stage. You guys didn't cheer. Everyone shut up. Just you guys. Cheer as loud as you can. Like, ah! And everyone was quiet. Then 2 more people showed up. I was like, what the fuck? The 6 of you shut up. You 2. And this guy was so stoned. He's like, what? When I say 3, you guys go crazy. And the guy went, and the place erupted. And he came up to me after and was like, you just said make noise. I was like, I'm so stoned. I had no idea what you're talking about. But it erupted like uncontrollable because of the situation that I didn't design or plan to happen worked. You know what I mean?
This is the opposite of humble brag. This
No.
is just,
You
I'm
know what?
killing
This
it out
is-
here.
This is when I imagine Kamar to be at his best because I find Kamar the funniest when he's Kamar.
Everyone,
Not, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that to me is when he shines.
it wouldn't be me. I'm bragging for sure, but like it was an instant. All that whole table came up and was like, that was the best. You made fun. Like,
And you don't do crowd work.
I don't do crowd work, but as an MC, if everyone walks in after the show started, you'll get a laugh out of shitting on them. And they were like, you should have said it was late because I was black. And I was like, yeah, I didn't want to do that. I don't think I had their trust at that point because he was black. But and then the second thing that
just
happened,
obviously why he was late.
but of course, he talked about Mitzi. No, sorry, he spoke to Mitzi. Now, what do you guys think about that?
Oh, let's just end this
recounting of the
let's just
experience.
end this podcast here because the last section.
Well, you guys don't like when men cry, I guess.
I just don't need to. I don't want to hear that on this podcast. That's all. That's not why I listen.
I thought it was amazing that he thought that he actually conversed with Mitzi That's what you have a problem with, or do you have a problem with Joe crying? Because
No,
I can get behind
everything
the joy.
after that.
I can get behind Joy
It's fine.
crying. Yeah,
It's
Joy.
fine. It's fine that he saw Mitzi and believes he spoke to her. I have no problem with that. I don't care. But everything after that, I'm just like, ugh. The next 20 minutes was just
But
like,
you don't believe in that at all.
why? I believe the mind can trick you into believing whatever the fuck it wants.
No, but
Ooh,
spirit was spoken to.
ooh, shots fired.
Why is that shots fired?
Because you said, I believe the mind can trick you into anything you want. That's
But that's what
us
it is, isn't it?
Intellectuals
Do you believe
say.
a spirit
How am
was
I an
spoken
intellectual?
to?
I dropped out of high school. I said that earlier, you fucking dipshit.
Do you believe a spirit was spoken to, or just Ari made a play in his head?
I believe Ari said he made a play in his head.
No, Ari said.
You weren't listening carefully.
He didn't know.
Joe
he wasn't
asked
definitive.
him, do you think that you actually saw
And he says,
Mitzi? And he said, yes, 100%.
he says, I
saw
believe
Mitzi."
okay, yeah. But he also followed that up by being like, I believe what I saw was Mitzi, but I don't, trust me, go back and listen.
You
You
go back and listen
No.
because I'm
I
telling you.
don't think he was definitive. I think maybe I made it up, or maybe it really happened.
Can you do another poll? Because I'm 100% sure that he said.
Did Ari say he for sure talked to Mitzi?
Yeah.
Or did he say maybe I made it up?
And
talking to
Joe
Mitzi?
didn't believe him at all.
Get it on the Reddit.
Obviously, because Joe never does when it comes to anything like that. And
My-
that's where Matt's at too.
My point of contention is that between weeps, Joe goes, if you get on stage, you're a cop.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you get paid.
No, I immediately was just like, I couldn't disagree with this statement anymore.
Well, he disagreed with his own
Yeah.
statement 3 days earlier.
But I hadn't even
whenever
thought
they were
about that.
saying
I was just thinking on my own. I was like, I wholeheartedly disagree with this
Well,
statement.
he wholeheartedly disagrees with what he said, but he's so caught up because Mitzi would call anyone a comic baby, and
There are people that go up week after week and are terrible and never get better, and I don't consider them comedians. That's just,
Am I being a prick?
yes.
You're not. You're just going right away with I'm being a prick. Okay.
Oh, there was more to the question.
Yeah, there's more.
Oh.
Like, is Joe? Listen, I get it. You have somebody you love who dies, and it's one of the worst things ever. But every time they get brought up, it makes you weep.
yeah.
Yes.
When you're drinking?
No,
It was
no,
the
no,
drinking.
no,
It was
no.
the drinking. Yes, that's what it was, Matt. 100%.
No,
You are
man.
absolutely right. No.
Right? That's a game changer.
The drinking helps, but without Mitzi, there's no Joe Rogan
It
experience.
doesn't
Like,
matter.
it
The
is-
drinking changes everything.
Every time-
Joe can have a totally normal conversation
Yeah,
about
yeah,
Mitzi
yeah,
when
yeah,
he's
yeah.
not.
I bet he can weep. I've
You
been
are
there. I've been there.
100% right. This is no two lions fighting a pack of coyotes or of a pack of hyenas.
We do
This
not
is,
have an agreement.
We have an agreement.
We do have an agreement. Thank you. Agreed that we have an agreement.
Yeah.
Well,
Double agreement.
we wondered if we'd ever see him again, and
here
we
he
did.
is.
He's back. I'm glad he came back. It was of the best natural someone laughing was when Joe was talking about chafing,
Chafing. Yeah.
whatever. And Ari lost his shit, and it was so like not trying to G him up. He fucking was hysterical.
No, that was a beautiful moment.
It was also pretty
where
funny when he was like, man, I'm 200 pounds and it's almost all in my legs.
There were no billionaire. Those were just two guys
Agreed.
laughing at one guy's fat legs.
Thunder thighs.
All right, rate it. Start with you. Jew.
I knew that was coming. I give this one. Oh, and just before I rate it,
Abby Martin.
so Ari's been back.
Yeah. We assume Tony or Brian will be next in the timeline, correct?
Tony has not been back.
Yeah. So it'll be either. I assume it'll be Tony.
Shane Gillis has been back.
But Brian, though.
For the first
But hold
time.
on. How has Brian not been on?
This is where I am going.
Because Brian is clearly
What
back on the
is
fighter and the
happening?
kid.
What is happening? What has happened? He never talks about Brendan Schaub anymore. He definitely never mentions Brian's name anymore.
Schaub's been in the new studio, though. He went to the Red Studio.
He has, but think about it, Matt. In the past the
Schaub's
past
stuck in
20
LA. He's got a lot of-
episodes,
yeah.
have you even heard him mention Schaub's name once?
No, probably not. Or Callan for that. Well, no, Brian's come up once or
He's
twice.
actually said Brian's name.
For so long, he never mentioned Ari's name, but they were like, we are obviously best friends. They're all best friends.
It's true. Kamar's right.
It's coming. It's coming down the pike.
Look, man, I like to look for
Well,
patterns where there may
Simon,
be
you didn't
or
talk.
may
You
not
didn't.
be.
You didn't talk to me for like 3 straight years. And look at us now. We got a podcast together.
It should be.
because you moved to Vancouver.
Yeah, and you cut me off.
Well, listen, man. Like
I know. Why keep a friend? It's
you
crazy.
only have so much bandwidth.
we don't have time for guilt trips.
You
I
know?
got to go do my show.
So did you think I wanted a pen pal, asshole?
You were calling me a lot.
Once. 2 years, 1 call.
I feel like, did
It
he say
seemed
Duncan
like a
Truss will
lot.
be once a month in September? Or, because I feel like he should be back.
Oh, he should be.
want-
but
he wanted
I don't
that.
think we'll get that. I don't think we'll
Joy.
be so lucky. All right.
Okay,
Did we
let's
rate it?
wrap her.
Oh, I give it. Hold on. I give it a 4. Do you want to rate it, Jew?
I give this one a 4.32.
Kamar?
4.4.
4.4. The sultry voice of Kamar Hargadon.
This
I'm
was a
I'm
great
Casey
episode.
Kasem.
Great episode. Had
Well,
everything you could want.
Our
No, but
episode was great, you're saying?
No, this.
Oh, the Ari
But
episode. Okay.
because it's someone you're used to seeing all the time and they are for a long time, and then it's just it's a reunion. Reunion.
Reunion man.
Come selecta.
All right. Thank you so much. If you made it this far, good for you. You're incredible. We love you to death. If you made it this far, you might be willing to go just a little bit further. We do have some socials. If you want to follow us on Instagram or Twitter, it's at JREE Podcast. You can follow Kamar on Instagram.
At Kamar Babar.
You can join the Reddit if you want to join in the conversation. It's r/JREE Podcast on Reddit. There's also, of course, a YouTube. If you want to watch the show, it's youtube.com/JREE Podcast. Even if you don't plan on watching it, maybe do us a favor, slide over there, just hit subscribe, and then you don't ever have to come back. You don't have to watch anything. If you are watching the videos, thank you so much. Maybe also hit a thumbs up while you're there for Kamar. What's up?
I just want to say, if I was interested, we'll be discussing Rick Rubin, Jeff Bezos, KSI, Logan Paul, and Lily Uzi Vert bought a planet in the post show.
Okay, so you're going to miss that. If you want to get the post show, you can join the Patreon, where you can support the show for as little as $5 a month. It's patreon.com/JREE Podcast. Head over there. For that $5 a month, you will get the post show. It's the show after the show where we shoot the shit, talk about non-Joe stuff, and you'll also get the back catalog of old episodes of This Won't Age Well, where we went back, we listened to old episodes, and we did what we do here. Useless. Thank you so much for listening. Don't forget to check out On It. We have a code. It'll be in the description. If you're in the States, you can get yourself a free trial of something, whatever the hell's in there. I will write it in the description. Other than that, thank you guys so much for listening. Stick around for the post show if you're on the Patreon. We hope you have a great weekend, and as usual,
Keep your eyes open.